Passion 5.
Stop reading Twitter, Aaron.
What?
We have a podcast.
But Passion of the Christ is trending, Rick.
Live.
It's trending.
TV/Blind Wave.
To Passion, to Christ. It's great.
Did you even watch the first one? You did, right?
I did.
He did stuff during it. You don't remember that story?
I watched it with my girlfriend.
He was sinning.
And then we had sex or something. I forget what we did.
I remember.
You went to the movies, Passion of the Christ.
No, it was in her bedroom.
Oh, I thought you were at the theater.
Passion's in the title.
You got all horned up.
No, I mean I don't know why. Or I don't know what happened. That's just
We know why.
It's a weird story of like we were watching Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
And then we had sex.
Well, now you can finally have sex again.
I never finished the movie. That won't work.
You don't know what happened then?
Huh?
You don't know what happened at the end then?
I don't have any idea. Never finished it.
Is this a real story? They're really making another one?
I don't know. I mean, it's trending.
It's trending, yeah.
This here from Screen Geek says the Passion of the Christ sequel reportedly begins filming this spring.
Like from Mel Gibson?
I don't know who's doing it. Like, is it going to be also a person of interest, right? What's his name?
The main actor?
Jim Caviezel?
Yeah, he was Jesus, right?
Yeah.
Like, is he going to be Jesus again?
I don't know if he would. He had a rough time.
Yeah, he got shocked by lightning twice while on the cross.
What?
Look it up.
While doing the movie?
Look up Jim Caviezel getting struck by lightning twice. At least that's the story. I'm not sure if it's true, but while on the cross and being like, yes, God wants us to make this movie.
Wait,
if you survive.
I guess so, yeah.
Struck by lightning while playing the role. What?
It was mild as being struck by the sky can be.
As mild as it can be? That is crazy. I can't imagine, like, all right, I'm playing Jesus Christ. I'm up on the cross. Maybe he doesn't want this. You know, like, what do you think about that?
Now, is this going to be like another, like, it's a sequel to Passion of the Christ. So his time back and then his ascension to heaven? Or is this like modern times?
Well, I would guess it's the latter. But you could also go into, like, his return again.
Sure.
At the very end.
Yeah.
Of everything. I've
read the New Testament many, many, many times. A lot of the people that wrote that were expecting, like, any day now. He's going to come back. Sell all your shit. You don't need it. And we've been doing that for about 2,000 years.
I mean, if they can stretch the Hobbit into a trilogy, I think they can stretch Jesus' story into a
I
trilogy.
suppose so. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I said about them, like, why is Passion of the Christ trending? Rick's like, they're making a sequel. And I was like, he didn't have enough passion before? He has more passion now? Like, what happened? So I'm curious on what they would do with that story. I don't know. I assume you just do the resurrection, but as far as I know of that, he just kind of shows back up and leaves, right?
I mean,
like, there's not a lot of story
well, at the
to
end
tell.
of the first movie, he came back.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was there, looking good.
Oh, I didn't get that far.
And then, they moved the rock.
Yeah.
I mean, what else you got left? You got, the two ladies that see him.
Yeah.
You got Doubting Thomas.
But I don't feel like you have a lot of, like, I don't think you have, like, a very interesting, like, movie to tell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like people come and see him, and then he leaves, right?
A lot of it is a lot of people saying, hey, I saw Jesus. Like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. All right. I believe you. Well, there's also the one story of, like, he appeared before the 2000, but, like, there's just one account of that. It's not like there's 2,000 accounts.
Do we like follow him to heaven?
Maybe.
Is that what we do?
Mel Gibson plays God.
I don't know if Mel Gibson.
He'd have a beard for it. I'd believe it. That guy can grow a beard.
All right.
He's got a lot of faults, but he is not follically challenged.
Two.
Okay. I was just, I'm pretty sure that was a Family Guy skit. Passion of the Christ too.
Was it?
Yeah, didn't they they did like a whole 3-minute, cutaway.
I didn't watch a lot of Family Guy.
I have information on what it supposedly pertains to.
All right, man. Hit me.
A sequel to Passion of the Christ from 2004. This is like 20 years later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Focuses on the events that occurred 3 days between the crucifixion and the resurrection when Jesus Christ ascended to Abraham's bosom to preach and resurrect Old Testament saints.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
So
and it claims Jim Caviezel will be Jesus, but I don't know if this is all real or what.
Oh man, we skip over his time in hell.
What? He went to hell?
Well, when he died, he went to hell.
Why'd he go to hell? Because he sinned?
Well, because
he took everyone else's sins, thus he goes to hell, right?
Yeah, he's got
he's got to experience everything.
He's got to experience it all.
Yeah. He's got to be.
I just think his dad's a jerk.
Well, here's the thing. He's also his dad.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Like, he's a sacrifice for the system that he himself put up. But the thing I always say is, like, okay, you're going to be tortured and crucified, and you're going to be dead for a weekend. When you're done, you become God. I might do it.
Sounds all right.
I might do it.
This is a very dark
there's
situation, I
It
feel
is.
like.
But there's already a God, right?
Well, yeah, but it's
So,
three
like,
in one.
are you
God the Father,
merging?
God the Son.
Is this like a Super Mario Brothers kind of thing?
No, think of it. See, okay, I'm gonna put on my Christian hat. All right, I used to be pretty good at this.
Hey, Calvin, by the way, how are you?
Good. You guys are talking about Passion of the Christ 2?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, Passion
Okay.
of the Christ was
A lot of
trending.
people have problems with like how is he fully God and fully man? That doesn't make sense. He can't be 200% of something, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then also God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Think about water. You can get it in ice form. You can get it in liquid form. It's still water.
Gas.
Yeah, but
You
it's
know what I'm saying?
different
It's still
water.
gaseous
So
form.
you're saying like it's
It
still
is.
God, but it's a different God?
Yeah.
Interesting. So is the Holy Spirit the gaseous form?
Holy Spirit is what you feel.
It's what's inside you right now.
So now
You know, like when you go to a rock concert and you're just swept up in the moment.
that's the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my experiences,
Give me the text message.
this is a very blasphemous beginning of the podcast. I apologize.
All
I
right.
feel like it's educational.
It is
I
Calvin.
guess
They're making another Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Hmm.
you know what? Just you're right here.
Yay.
He wanted the code, whatever. And I'm just look at this. Anyway, welcome guys to the Blind Wave Podcast.
Yep.
Yes.
We're all here now. We were just buying time for Calvin. Obviously, he was
Sure.
going potty or something. So,
Go
Yep.
deep in
I was.
theological discussions.
Yeah.
but anyway, we're all back here now for some Blind Wave talk and stuff. Speaking of, if you guys have any interest in being a Twitch mod, don't forget there is a mod application below the stream that you can
Yeah.
fill out, and we will check those out. and
Any
stuff too.
interests, like even like if they have like
Like,
evil
no-
motivations, like I'm gonna ruin this chat.
Um,
Maybe you shouldn't say
if you
any,
have good
Aaron.
intentions
There
of
you
wanting to be
go.
a mod for Blind Wave,
Yeah. Well, they didn't
Yeah.
say not to. If I did have bad intentions.
especially on Twitch,
Yeah.
let us know.
Let us know.
How much interest is that paying out? Like 7%?
7%.
As in economics, Joe.
I
Don't worry about it.
I don't know. I'm not.
I was going to say, as far as like, I'm interested in this topic, 7% is not very interested.
yeah, but it's better than 0% interest.
Yeah.
Jake, you've been a mod for quite some time. How much have you earned in interest? He's just laughing.
No, Eric. Those are tears.
Those are tears.
Jancy, Obi cannot be a mod. He loves everybody. He wouldn't be able to discipline anybody.
Yeah. He would never ban anyone.
Yeah.
Unless it was
He would just make everybody a
to
mod.
the petting room.
Yeah.
Petting room. But yeah, so I was gonna talk about Pokemality stuff too.
Pretty cool, huh?
Pretty.
You have to say it.
Feel your Pokemality.
Feel your Pokemon.
If you guys haven't been following, there have been some shorts going up and stuff over on Pokemality as we prepare for January 20th, which is also the launch of Crown Zenith.
Yep.
And some new information and stuff that we're going to have being launched about Pokemality. So make sure you guys tune in for that.
Pretty cool, huh?
One of which is also including our next randomizer.
Yes.
So,
So excited for that.
we're ready for that.
Are you excited, Calvin?
I'm excited for Aaron.
I'll do the randomizer as long as Aaron spars with me for roll with the punches.
I mean, we can do some trade-offs like that. I would do stuff like that.
If I wanted to be a mod, where do I go? What do I say? What do
Just
I...
right below the Twitch stream, if you scroll down a little bit, there's like a blue
There's
button.
like an
that
application
says
button.
Yeah.
Mod application. You click that one,
Nice.
and you fill out the little Google form, and then we look through those later on and
Yeah.
see
Gotcha.
what kind of application things we have, what people are interested in. So yes,
I'm a
yes.
mod on Zelda streams.
Zelda.
I got the icon.
Yeah.
If you're at all a Zelda fan, join us
Mm.
in the stream. I mean, also you can watch Rick, but we have great conversations in the chat.
Mocking me.
Yeah.
No, we don't mock them.
Yeah.
We encourage. My favorite thing is like, my favorite thing in the entire week is like, so many people are like, go up the mountain and meet the great fairy for a power up, and you go up, you start going up the mountain, and you're like, wait, no, this boulder is oddly placed. there must be something. And you blow it up and you go inside the little grotto and there's a cow and Maggie goes, is that the fairy? And you guys are so innocent. You're like, you picked up like a thing of grass. It's like, what do we do? It's like, feed it to the cow. I just love like the innocence of like anything could happen and we have to be exhaustive. And it's just so funny to watch. Like that only happens with people who've never played it before. And now that we're years and years and years past, that's such a small group of people.
Such a rare.
It's been a
occurrence.
challenge to avoid everything because, like, I watched a lot of speed runs, but it's like that Mario 64. It's like, nope, can't watch these.
Nope.
I'm gonna play them someday. I know I am. I don't know when.
Besides, the speed runs, you wouldn't get spoiled by much.
Yeah,
They've broken
that's
that game
true.
so hard that they can
True.
literally program the game to take them to the end. That's literally what they do.
I've played Portal and I've seen the speed run. I
Yeah.
can't tell you what map they're on.
Dude, the quote-unquote speed run that happened last year during Awesome Games Done Quick, or maybe it was summer, I'm not really sure.
Sure.
Which is going on by right now.
You're
by
talking
the way.
about the Zelda like randomizer kind of one? Is that
Well,
what it
there was one that was called the Triforce Run,
Oh, that. Okay, yeah.
right? And I think I might have talked about it, but it was just what these guys ended up doing is they took all the old conspiracy theories of like, I'm not going to use any main examples, so I don't want to spoil you on stuff that you can't do.
Yeah.
But as you know, you can have a theory on what you should do and go try to do it and it doesn't work out. These people never gave up.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they were able to use a task bot. So it's still inputting things, but it was an actual bot that they're able to use 4 controllers to feed information back, and they reprogrammed the game to be able to do these myths that you never were able to do before.
Nice.
But whenever they showed it, they named it something else. They didn't name it Triforce Run or whatever. They named it something else. So everybody watching live and watching it for the first time had no idea they were going to do this.
Sure.
They presented it as if, hey, we found the hidden stuff.
Well,
it was insane to watch.
And one of the things about it too is like some of it were like the myths that people had from way back then when, but it was all using in-game stuff
It was.
in the N64 and everything. So it wasn't like they added anything into the game. Everything had either already been there or they kind of altered what was
Like
there already.
repurposed it.
Yeah, they,
Kind of, yeah.
They did some like Game Genie style stuff.
Yeah,
But-
like there was always a story about one guy who was a boss that you had to fight, and like he was never a boss you could fight. But in this, they created a boss battle that you fought him, and it was really cool.
And they did a thing at the end where, I don't know how, and this is all running natively on the 64, they were able to, like, because TaskBot was still connected, at the end they had this big crescendo moment where everybody that was in chat would show up in the screen live. Like
Their usernames?
Yeah, their usernames and what they were messaging, and they told everybody, like, I can't remember, come together or something like that. And everybody it was happening live on the Nintendo 64. It was insane. People at the end of it were like, so none of that's real, right? I'm like, no, dummy, of course it's not real.
Sure.
But it was such a experience.
Like a
watching it the
spirit
first
bomb.
time. Especially someone like me who back in the day would read Nintendo Power and Nintendo Power wouldn't tell you the answer. They'd be like, maybe you can.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Well, it's
I guess
in
I
their
gotta kill
interest.
this one boss 1,000 times.
Yeah. They were things
Then I
like-
gotta run around Lon Range
Remember how
300.
Mew was under that truck, right?
Yeah.
In like red or blue or whatever it was. Like you gotta go do this, and you do this, and you get and it was like that's not real.
It's
Yeah.
just
None
a
of
way to pad out the playtime so that the life of the game is longer than it normally would be. If you didn't have that intrigue, if you didn't have people digging for secrets and stuff, then they would just play through the main campaign and then be done.
I mean, it's also like it's interesting as like a time capsule thing in that Photoshop was around, but not many people knew about it, and certain screenshots like leaked onto the internet, and people were like, "This must be real. Look at it." To the point where like those screenshots appeared in Nintendo Power. It's like, we have no information about this, but who knows? Like, oh my god, like we have that. Today everybody just assumes everything is photoshopped. Even stuff that I'm like, that looks real. I'm like, it's probably photoshopped. Which makes me not worry about the future and how deep fake and changing people's voices and stuff. Like, I think that as a species that consumes media, we're going to become sophisticated enough where we can tell. But I don't know what that really looks like. I just have faith that we'll be able to do that.
Sure.
I did see, before we get too far off from the topic, I saw someone ask how much of a time commitment is being a mod, especially Twitch-wise. time commitment is basically when Twitch is live. And it's not necessarily every stream either. It's just if you're there a lot and you want to help and moderate, it's something that you can offer. I know some people that are on Twitch streams a lot, and then some people they just kind of show up when they can, you know? So it just depends on what kind of freedom you have on when we stream. I know we have Monday through Friday streams right now. Monday through Wednesday is at 6 our time. Then we have earlier streams on today and tomorrow. So Saturdays we just have Roll with the Punches, which is over on the YouTube channel right now. So,
Yes.
Yep. So that's not on our Twitch currently. But if you have any other questions, whatever, you could always message a mod, message me or anything. You could always ask a question somewhere, or even in like Blind Wave's Discord or something like that. And usually me or mods or someone can give you some answers on what it's like or any other thoughts. But have you guys been watching while talking about GDQ? Any of the GDQ stuff?
No, I haven't caught any of it.
No, I don't know if you
keep
guys
forgetting.
are big on speedruns or anything. This is the first year where like I didn't miss the beginning. I usually always catch it like 2 to 3 days in. I'm like, oh my God, this week is GDQ. I've been missing it.
Yeah.
So I've been kind of like trying to watch as much as I can of different parts of it. And Eric, you brought up one of the things that was really cool. There was a Super Mario Galaxy 2 speedrun race that was going on. And I watched a little bit of that. There was one level that I didn't know was a thing, and I was like, this is cool.
Cool.
But that was just more so for me. The cool thing about it on GDQ was that they ended up, the guy who won the race ended up setting a world record during stream on that game.
Nice.
Wow, that's really
I was
cool.
like,
For those who don't know exactly what GDQ is, it is a kind of a showcase where some of the best players in the world, specifically speedrunners, kind of come and give you an update about what's happened that year in that game. You know, Breath of the Wild came out, 7 years ago now? Something like that. 5 years ago? It's been a while.
Yeah.
But every year I watch that run, and they've broken the game in whole new ways, you know? So for me, it's really cool. Like Touchstone I don't always keep up with the speedrun community that much, but I will see this presentation that's been kind of more catered for me, the person that's not as into that community. But to have someone beat the record while doing that must be pretty rare. I know it's happened. They do a lot of games. I know it's happened before. This is a pretty high-profile game.
Yeah.
To do that on.
Yeah. It was done too during like one of the usually the evening ones. They do some of their bigger games and stuff too and whatnot. But
It's also been done and later revealed that it was cheating before too.
during GDQ,
Yeah.
I know that that's
Yeah.
happened tons of times in just speedruns in general and
Sure.
stuff. But I know as far as GDQ goes, there's not been too many times that like a world record has been set while on stream.
Well, yeah, like a lot of times they're running it for marathons, so they use different strats that
Yeah.
are more reliable.
Yeah, more consistent usually.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they don't, and they go for like, let me show you
Yeah.
this one. It's not usually doesn't always work. Lots of
Yeah.
times we'll try it and we'll reset and then we'll have to go again. And they'll be like, let me do it until I show you.
Yeah.
And
It's like
sometimes
a-
they try it on the first time and they get it, and that helps them like
Progress.
just being lucky, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a martial arts demonstration versus a competition.
Sure.
Like they're not really going to try and break the records. It's more just
Yeah.
show people.
My
be
An
entertaining.
exhibition.
My favorite thing about any of those runs, because generally they have a person playing and then they'll have people on the couch behind them, because sometimes the person playing needs to focus, or you just have some running commentary. I love whenever what I think mundane happens, and it looks a little weird, but it seems mundane, and the couch just goes, and no one reacts, and the couch goes, "You guys have no idea how hard what we just saw was
Yeah.
one of the hardest things in this game, maybe in speedrunning history," and he just pulled it off flawlessly. And there's like one or two people in that live audience going, but everybody else is like, "What?" It's like, you have no idea. That's the stuff I live for. I love like the stuff that was gonna fly over my head, but now I've got it.
Yeah. No.
Also,
it's
shout
fun
out to Mike Uyama as well, who this is going to be his last GDQ. He was one of the founders of it. It started in his basement
Wow,
back in the day. So,
in his basement. I
Yeah.
wonder what that feels like.
no, I love watching those old ones.
We're not nearly as big as GDQ,
I know, I'm
Eric.
kidding.
Calm the fuck down.
I did want to respond to Alicia. I saw she said she asked if I caught Trilogy. Trilogy had a I think it was Armored Core speedrun that he did.
Nice.
I caught it. What was it? Tuesday morning? What's today? I want to say it was Tuesday morning.
Yeah,
but it was
Thursday
like like
podcast.
when I woke up, he was streaming. So I turned it on and I caught it a little bit in the kitchen while I was getting ready. And
That's
then
amazing.
by the time I got to work, he was already done. I was like, dang it. So
Ah.
I caught a little bit while I was getting ready for work, but it was really cool. Like,
Okay.
I think this
I'll
is
check
his
that out.
second time at GDQ. I feel like he's been there once before.
Is it all in person again, or
This is still online. It's
still online,
Yeah, they're
okay.
cutting over to different people in different places
okay?
and
Never
stuff.
mind.
So,
All right.
I
I knew that they were trying to get.
Yeah, they were trying to do it, I think, in Florida, and then it was a whole shit show of like you're not even allowed to wear masks in a convention in Florida or something like that.
Gosh.
They don't even let you do it. I can understand, like, well, we can't tell people what to do, but
Yeah.
to tell them what not to do is
It
interesting.
was something crazy like that.
Huh.
I think there was also like trans stuff too that was going to be questionable.
Okay.
Oh, Trilogy's in the chat. He said it's the second time at the main event.
Second time. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Yeah.
At a mainline
You said it was
event.
Armor Core.
It was Armored Core something, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I know it was mech related.
Yeah.
I know he usually does like Just Cause speedruns, and I know he does a lot of mech speedruns.
The new Armored Core coming out.
There is a new
Relatively
Armored Core
soon,
coming out.
yeah.
But I don't remember which game it was. Project Phantasma. I think it was. I know it was shorter than an hour. I think it was like within 40 minutes, but I forget.
Yeah, Trilogy here says the combination of Florida's COVID rules plus the hostility to LGBT led them to not go in person.
Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Because I thought that they did it
Okay.
in person before. Who said that? Someone said that too, right? Summer was in person. So the last one they had was in person. Which I don't know. There is. I like what they're doing now, but there's something too about the in person that kind of has more of an energy about it, especially with like a crowd. I think.
With the audience.
With the
know,
audience
so,
like gasping
yeah.
in the background.
Yeah,
You know, that
exactly.
gives it a lot more energy.
Like
So-
I love our reactions, but sometimes I'll look up movie reactions of a movie, right? With 300 people in a theater, and there's just a certain energy about that it's very unfocused, but it gives you like a mob mentality, like, oh yeah, I like this.
Sure.
Feel.
Well, and it's a thing, like, that's one of my favorite things about movie theaters, but it depends on when you go and who the grouping is, right?
Yeah.
Like, one of my favorite things when I was younger was going to theaters with, like, our senior class,
Yeah.
because we all enjoyed the things we were going to see, and we would react and laugh, and you felt an energy amongst us, at least, enjoying the movie. And the only other time I felt that randomly that I can think of was seeing Star Wars Episode 3, I think for the first time. The crowd and stuff that was in there was like laughing and gasping and stuff. Like when Yoda comes in and like throws the guards against the wall, everyone's like, ha ha ha, ha, you know?
Yep.
Because like, ha, puny guards, you know? And it was just a fun
May
time.
19th, 2005. Hell of a day.
May
yeah.
19th.
Yep.
The day the Kane movie came out. See No Evil.
We have very different references for
Wait.
things.
The exact same day?
May 19th. Yeah, I will never,
2005?
ever forget that. I don't know about the year.
Oh, well then, psh,
It's the same day.
there's tons of things happen on the same day. Like multiple birthdays on the same day? Anyway.
Aaron's still salty that he has to share his birthday.
No, it's all good. I was just trying to think of something else on the same day. That was the first thing that popped in my head.
Yeah. But wrestling fans who watch in that era will never forget that.
Gotcha.
It's drilled into
19th.
our heads every week.
Every week,
Yep.
May 19th.
All the time.
May 19th.
All the time.
Rick, has there been much? I mean, I know the WWE world has been reeling from the maybe return of Vince McMahon. Has there been any more updates with that?
I don't think there's any maybe about it. Yeah,
Is it gonna
Vince
happen?
Come back
No.
in, rumored to facilitate the sale of the company.
The
Which
sale of the company.
it's a big sale, so there's not a lot of people who could do that.
Think we could buy it?
No,
So,
How awesome would it be?
so was the reason he came back to sell the company, like, did he not trust who he left it to, or was he worried that if they sold, he wasn't going to get money, or?
I mean, I don't know. Like, it's his company, you know. I can kind of understand him wanting to sell it.
Yeah, you put that many years into something, you kind of want to be there for closure, I suppose.
Well, like that's been talked about that it's something that was going to happen for a while, and they like were getting the correct deals and making the company as valuable as possible before the sale happened. So like there were talks about this happening before his newest scandal,
Sure.
and like the ousting and everything. So I mean, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to happen for sure or not, but I would say it's likely.
Who do you
And-
think is the most likely to buy?
I mean, not a lot of people have that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
Disney, I think, maybe Amazon. Could be a
Okay.
couple contenders, maybe.
What if no one wants it,
Well,
or no one can afford it?
I mean, you could sell off
Parts of it.
it in chunks,
That's true.
possibly. I doubt they
mean-
would just dissolve.
Would Vince sell anything to rival wrestling groups? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like it would be money for
I
him.
don't know the man.
Yeah,
He has in the past been incredibly spiteful
yeah.
when it comes to any sort of rivalry or that sort of thing.
That's why I wondered, like, how
I
much
feel like he would let the company die and take no money
before
rather than selling it
before selling assets
to his opponents.
yeah,
Yeah.
the rivals.
But I'm sure he also likes money as well.
Yeah, that was part of my thought. It's like, how interested in the selling of it is he? Would he sell it to people who already do wrestling?
I think he would sell it to Saudi Arabia before he would sell it to AEW.
All right, I see.
I kind of agree.
Who's the
To Tony Khan.
Who's the worst person to sell it to, or group to sell it to?
Like worse than Saudi Arabia?
I mean, it would be
Because
like
the stories I've heard
I'm not
from,
saying like Al Qaeda,
like,
but like possible.
I was just wondering because like the stories I hear from like how they handle like their wrestlers and all that kind of stuff sound terrible.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't know. Who would be really bad?
I mean, who would be really bad is like, I mean, the worst would be Vince Russo. Like, that's not going to happen. But,
Yeah.
like, he was integral in the destruction of WCW.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, anyone who ruined that company, like, would not be great.
Sure. Give me another chance.
But he doesn't have that kind of money, so.
Yeah, I don't know. Kim Jong Un. I don't know. Like, I don't know who would be the worst person to sell it to. I have no idea.
I mean, yeah, it's like, Saudi wouldn't be great, especially for, like, the female wrestlers.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like, would they even still be able to compete?
I'm trying to remember. I don't really keep up with wrestling as much as I used to. But I believe that they had to have different outfits. But I believe in like the last Saudi show, they were there,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But it was like very much more modest outfits than they would normally wear.
Right.
I saw in chat, I'm looking at the moderator application. I'm already on the first question, and I'm stuck. And I was like, the first question, what was that? And it says, name. Just put your name. It can be your screen name.
Your
It can
your
be
first
your
name.
name. It depends on what you're comfortable with and where you're at. I've had people that are like back in the day with Jake, I think he just put Jake, but I've also had people just put their screen names.
Yeah.
Or maybe you put Kyle. I don't know. All right. There's the wrestling news then for the now. So, Rick, let us know what he ends up doing with it. I would imagine the best thing to do would be to sell to like some kind of network in general.
Sure.
But I don't know who the
You
best
mean
one
like
would be.
like
NBC
Disney
or something.
Something like that, right?
like
Like you're
that.
probably going to want probably a channel of some sort.
Well,
Like I
right
say
now-
channel as in thinking of back in the day when I would watch wrestling
Sure.
on some kind of station.
NBC's Peacock, right?
Yes.
Because the WWE Network is on Peacock now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe they
So,
have
yeah.
a deal with them or
Yeah,
it's,
yeah. So there's no more WWE Network. Peacock like licensed that.
Okay.
So NBC would probably make the most sense since they already have the WWE Network.
Sure.
Gotcha. And they may be already interested in just keeping it there then. So
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure.
depends on how much I guess money it brings.
Which, that deal hasn't been great for like hardcore wrestling fans because they censor a lot of things. So like if you want to see things as they were, you can't find that stuff anymore. A lot of it.
Gotcha.
But if you want to make it more palatable to today's audiences, then like it is a good thing. If you just want to let your kid free and be like, watch wrestling or whatever, like it's a little safer than it would have been otherwise.
Okay.
Elon Musk buys it.
He can't
Quit
afford
buying
it.
things.
All right. Well, what else is going on? How's everyone else been for the week and news or anything that you guys have heard or stories you need to tell? I have one story from this week that happened.
All right.
Yeah.
Where, we sat down, we had dinner, and then after dinner, I think Ayla was doing homework or something like that. I remember being like, "No, Chunky, get down off the table." Like
Chunky?
talking to the cats.
Oh, okay.
The cat.
I was like,
Ayla.
I know the
what?
chunky that
What
ate
did you eat for dinner?
No, she
She's
wasn't
stuffed.
talking to like Leon or something. Like, Chunky, get down. So that's one of the cats' names is Chunky.
Chunky.
And then me and Melanie were heading into the bedroom. I don't know if I was going to do work or what we were doing or whatever, but then the kids were going to feed the cats.
Mm-hmm.
And then Leon came in. He goes, "Where are the cats at?" I'm like, "What do you mean, where are the cats?"
Oh, no.
He's like, "I can't find the cats." Like, "You can't find any cats?" Like, "Well, I found Luna." And I'm like, "Okay, well, they're somewhere." So we started walking around looking for them. Leon's like, "Are they outside?" I'm like, "Well, I was the last one who came inside. And after I came inside, Ayla yelled at Chunky and told him to get down. So I know Chunky's here. And there's no way, like, none of the other cats except for Catwick. Bubbles a time or two, but she hasn't so much anymore. Take off outside really anymore."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, "Well, where are they? Did they go outside?" So then they started going outside. We're looking around outside. We're trying to find the cats. We looked in the living room. I went upstairs. The kids are looking under their beds and stuff. We're trying to figure out where these cats went. And then eventually, during this time, Luna's like pawing at Melanie, being like, "Meow, meow." She goes, "I know you're hungry, da da da." It's like, "Where are your siblings? where are your brothers?" And we're like, "Maybe they're in the basement." It was like, "Well, how would they get to the basement?" And we open the door of the basement, and Leon does his cat call, which I don't know if I've told you guys, but it's like, "Frau, Frau." Like, it's like he's saying like Fraulein or something like that. He's just, "Frau." And then like a cat took off up the steps and showed up. And we're like, "What?" And we're like, "Are there more down there?" And we're like looking around. Apparently, what had happened, and I had noticed this the other day when I was putting away Christmas stuff, but in the living room, we had found an air vent that had been lifted off of where it was. Now, this air vent didn't go to any vents. It was just a hole that went to the basement.
Okay.
Like the
And-
duct had been taken off of this.
Kind of, yeah.
Vent.
And 4 cats went through this hole down into the basement. They all did it except for Luna, who was like, "I'm staying up here." But we looked for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know. Inside,
long were they
all
down
over,
there?
Going out. I don't know. I don't know how they got it off. I don't know how they got in there, but they vented, went to the basement.
They did vent.
They
They're
vented.
sus.
They vented, went to the basement, and we're hiding down there doing whatever.
Curiosity kills the cat.
Yeah. And then like I put it back on and stuff, and then the next morning, one of the other cats was down there again. And so we put like something on top of it now. But I'm like, damn, how are they figuring out how to lift this vent up? What are they doing? So
They can
that's an
pull
ordeal
really
that
hard.
we have to deal with now. Is cats are able to just
Ordeal.
sneak into the basement.
Oh
somehow.
gosh.
So it was a very weird situation. And I'm like, I don't
Hopefully-
know where these cats are.
You need to
Hopefully you kept Luna in your bedroom for the night so that she didn't get executed. Because clearly she's the only one that's
like
not.
everyone else is an imposter.
Yeah, everyone else is an imposter.
you need to just like attach run a net through it so they can just climb back up.
Right? Well, it drops down to like a little shelf. So they must have dropped to this shelf and then dropped down to like something else and then was on the floor, you know?
Yeah.
Are your cats ground dwellers or tree dwellers?
Catwick is the only one I've seen who has climbed a tree like all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Most of the other ones, like
They get part way and turn around.
Like Bubbles likes to hide inside things, like in like a little house or under the bed, or like she likes to be lower, or like behind a couch. Some of the other ones would jump up in their cat tower and stuff like that, or try to climb curtains and stuff like that. I'm like, get down.
I know a lot of cat owners that have cats that like to climb and be up high. They like set up like almost like ramps and stuff like in the rafters of their home.
Yeah.
You know? And the
I
cats
have
would
something like that.
move from place to place up there.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Like carpeted
take it off the cat
2x4s
tree
and stuff.
and then across those beams
Oh,
Yeah.
they would
And then-
freaking love
and then
laying on those beams.
over the balcony thing. You know what I'm talking about? That little loft area. Like just send it up.
Oh,
along
they
there,
would
and
love
then
it,
just, like,
Aaron.
yeah, but I don't care that much.
I mean,
I know, but
it's just for some reason like when a cat is born, it's one or the other. Like
is it made of wood or net or what's it made of?
it could be
Just
like
whatever?
a 2x4 with some carpet on it. You know,
Yeah.
it just goes, just
just-
enough for them to get grip. But like back in the day when I would walk into one of the barns at the farm, like half the cats are up in the rafters and half of them are down there. You know, they don't mix.
Right now, there's one of the black ones. I can never tell Chunky and Shadow apart.
Yeah.
But we were eating, and I heard we have like a Bluetooth sound bar, and when it turns on, it turned on the Bluetooth, and it was like doo doo doo, and I was like, but we're all in here. What the heck? And I looked, and like one of the cats were climbing across like the mantle thing where it was. I'm like, get down, get down. They keep getting up there. I'm like, leave the TV and the electronics alone.
Yeah.
Go away. So that was something. It was interesting. It's not what I was expecting. The cats. I was like, "What happened?" Mel was like, "Aaron, did you do something?" I'm like, "No, I didn't do anything."
My cat got cock blocked.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yeah. Gigi was acting funny. Like when you pet him, he wouldn't purr. He seemed to be like uncomfortable or in pain. Wouldn't eat, which is very weird because like you're going to go get that food and he is all up in that business. Like he doesn't want to let you, like he doesn't want to wait. He wants to eat it out of your hand or whatever. Like very excited about food.
Yeah.
Didn't want to eat food. And I saw him go into the litter box and like meow, do nothing, come back out. So like, well, this isn't good. Tried to get him in a vet around here. Could not do it. So I had to take him to Columbus, which is a drive.
It's the emergency at Columbus.
Yeah.
2-hour drive.
Yeah.
We used to have an emergency over in Parkersburg, but they shut down over the COVID.
Yeah. So, yeah, his like urinary tract was blocked, so he couldn't pee. So it would have been fatal, but he's there still recovering. Hopefully we'll pick him up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Hope so.
That'd be good to be able to get him back home.
Now he's the Maine Coon.
Yes.
Did they have any comments whenever you brought him?
They said that's a big boy. They were very glad that he's like so well behaved and the perfect cat.
Oh yeah.
Docile.
Yeah.
Docile.
Like yeah, even in pain or whatever, like he didn't bite or scratch or anything. Because like if he wanted to fuck you up, he could. But yeah, he's just,
Aaron.
he's just the perfect cat.
You telling me you could take Rick?
He would very much hurt Rick before.
Rick just be boxing him, okay?
Rick,
I could box a cat.
Yeah. I would not want to fight Gigi. I would win, but I would not walk away.
I'm not saying I would like when I talk about the 100 cats or whatever thing that one time. I'm not saying I would be unscathed. I'm just saying I would win.
Maybe
100 cats?
Whatever it was, 100 kittens, whatever we talked about that one time. Remember that?
Yeah, I would say 100 kittens, maybe. 100 cats?
100
They're
cats.
fucking
100
you
cats
up.
would fuck
whatever our
you
conversation
up.
was, my point was that I would win, not that I'd be unscathed.
I don't think I would win against 100 Gigis.
100 GGs.
If they were intent to kill me.
I'm gonna find 100 lions. Okay, I'm not doing that either. So, but yeah, that's one of my my stories from the week.
Gotcha.
That was just yep.
Have you ever dealt with a pissed off kitten?
I don't know.
I'm not saying you couldn't kill it easily, but if it got on your face and you didn't know, it would fuck your face up. 100 of them all over your body, you're fucked, man.
I have, but usually I'm not like trying to hurt it. I'm trying to like, come on. It's like, I'm like, no, we gotta get you out of here.
I'm saying, how many kittens can you kill in like 10 seconds? If 100 of them are attacking you, you can't kill 100 in 10
No, you
seconds.
just start kicking. They're on the ground.
They're gonna get you.
No, you kick harder. You
They
get
can
away,
jump,
cats.
man. They're cats.
Like feral kittens just chasing. Ah!
Yeah.
They're surprisingly fast, and
Dude,
they can
feral
jump
kittens
way
run up
more
your
than their
leg,
body height.
punching them and
like
kicking
the
them.
Flash. They're somehow already at your waist, clawing with the claws, all four paws clawed into you.
They hurt.
Like true feral kittens. Ugh,
Oh man,
I would succumb.
Like how much do
100
bobcats
kittens.
weigh?
they're like 30 pounds, right? 35.
50 pounds? Something like that. You ever seen a bobcat?
I have.
I've seen them.
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
I've never gotten close enough for them to feel not like just like a normal cat, like a big normal cat.
Like Gigi's like 25 pounds.
Yeah, that's a huge cat.
Yeah. He a big
She's
boy.
bigger than Obi.
Yeah, he is.
Or he's big. I would keep saying he's bigger than Obi.
I was curious, so I typed in how many cats can a person fight, and I found this website that had a question of how many domestic cats would it take to kill a grown man?
Yes.
Is this your alt account,
Okay,
Aaron?
this is where the podcast is going. We're going to start with this, and we'll keep finding new things. How many does it take to kill someone? Okay.
Like it says about cats are normally an individual hunter, but if cats hunted in packs, we would probably all be in danger.
Yeah.
I would say 6 cats could take down the average size human.
It's like 100.
And then someone else came to here and was like, where was it? Cats don't attack in clouders, but if they somehow could be microchipped and remote controlled,
Yeah.
I think it would take a few dozen to do it by brute force.
Yeah.
Still, no way near approaching 100.
Someone said 1 if the cat has human intelligence.
Well, that's true. If they wait and jump on your back and then like bite like your carotid artery or
I
something.
thought you meant like it dropped a piano on me.
I mean, I guess that too. Just wait for the perfect opportunity. You know,
Why?
you're doing something
Fucking smart
stupid
cat.
and
Why do you turn into Wile E. Coyote?
I don't know.
you're doing something stupid on a
Humans'
construction
best
site.
way of killing things is a trap, and they're away in safety. That's how we survive.
Yeah, like Gigi could just gnaw my throat in my sleep,
Yeah.
and I'd be dead before I was able to do anything.
Yeah, it's not.
I was reading a thread the other day, and it was like the thread prompt was like, "What is the most uncomfortable, unsettling thing you've ever experienced in your life?" And one person was, my grandmother loved her cat, and her cat loved my grandmother. But one day, after a period of time in which my grandma wouldn't answer her phone, I went to go see what happened, and the cat had already eaten most of her arm. He said it was the most fucked up thing I'd ever seen, because the cat doesn't care that much, and it's hungry. But I can't imagine just walking in on that. Anyway,
That'd be rough.
it'd be real rough.
I found a Reddit page that says, how many hostile house cats would it take to kill you?
Yeah.
Round 1, you have goggles and a neck guard to protect your arteries.
Oh,
Round
no.
2, you are completely naked. This guy says, I have cats and I'm confident I could easily take out 30 plus of them in normal clothes and no weapons, even with them all bloodlusted. That's his thought.
If I had a stick, I feel like I'd be not perfect, but I've had some range.
This person says, 1, I'm super allergic.
Yeah.
They don't even have to touch me. Didn't say a nose guard.
Though this guy says, you're just wrong about decimating a cat with one kick. Here's a cat falling 80 feet onto its back, and it gets
Yeah.
up and runs away.
Yeah,
They have 9 lives. You got to kill 900 cats.
that's the thing. Yeah,
Man, I didn't think about that. Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
like I'm not proud about the story, but I've told it a few times on the channel of my uncle taking a cat up in a Cessna and dropping it out of the plane at like 5,000 feet, and it coming back to the airfield like a couple times, and them doing it more than once, and it's
insane.
surviving.
They do
So-
that weird
They can
circling
parachute.
maneuver where they
Yeah.
alternate circles of their bodies and they just land. I don't know what it is. We need to study them, apply that to Boston Dynamic robots, and then we die.
Well, they figured out how they land on their feet,
Yeah.
but the instinct to do it is crazy.
It's always crazy when you bring up that story and just roll over it.
Well, I mean, I don't want to
Obviously,
dwell on
you're
it
not
too
proud.
long.
It'd be weird if you were proud.
No, yeah,
But you got to bring it up.
and yeah, I mean, it's not me. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
My uncle. It was 40 years ago.
Yep.
You know.
Aaron, you look like you're learning over there.
I'm just scrolling through reading what people are saying and talking about.
Yeah.
It's just interesting to see different thoughts.
Do you
Like,
feel
this person-
humbled, or you're like, they're wrong? They don't know.
I don't know. A lot of people are thinking that 30 to 40 is generous, and there's some people being like, you died real quick. Like this one was talking about, where was it? There's an occurrence whereby a frenzied cat got the perfect ambush against a less than informed human being, being generous. Reportedly, the woman was hit more than 50 times by the cat with various areas of the head, legs, and hands. The result? Nothing but superficial wounds and minimum blood loss. The cat was subdued easily thereafter. Now imagine what a human being in prime shape with the intention to kill would do. And that's their point.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Now this one is strictly house cats. It's not
Yeah.
feral cats. It's not
Okay.
Sure.
not leopards or
Sure.
lions or anything. But taking into account 9 lives,
It's true.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I can at least take 10 then, right?
Yeah.
That puts me at 90. 90 cats.
Jake, you said you had another one too? Okay,
All right,
so
the idea is,
Or yeah.
if you had 100 people fighting one animal, right?
We know this already. We know the answer.
What animals can we take on as 100 people?
The emu.
We can't. We can't take
We
it on.
cannot take on the emu.
No.
We,
Wait. Yeah, we could.
No, we can't.
No, we can't fight an army of emu, but we can fight one emu, Rick.
100 people fighting an animal.
Fighting one emu, we can do that.
Fighting one
One
animal.
animal.
Which
Yeah.
of the
Not-
animal kingdom would survive?
And-
Not an army of emus. We would lose that, I understand.
Hand
we
in
already
hand.
have.
Yeah, we've lost it already. Too late. No weapons, hand to hand.
It has to be a living animal, not like a T-Rex.
Hand to paw.
Do you think 100 people with no weapons could take down like an elephant?
I don't think so.
I
No
don't
weapons?
think-
No.
With no weapons. Like what a lion?
Like if you could trick it or scare
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
off a cliff.
I think we could take a lion.
If you trick the elephant off a cliff?
Yeah, because that's what they did with mammoths, they think, right? Is it wasn't the spears that killed them, it was the scaring them and chasing them off a cliff.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
the
sure.
back
And then
killed them.
How much does 100 people weigh versus how much can an elephant carry? You know, like could we swarm the elephant?
Well,
like rage
so-
zombies and then poke its eyes?
The question too is like, is the animal fighting or are we just like ambushing it with 100 people?
I always like to think of this as a death battle
So it's just-
where like they've appeared and then want to kill each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the
Not
elephant
just like
isn't
the
going to run
elef-
off a cliff.
yeah.
It's going to fight us. Man, I don't know.
I mean, they
Elephants-
have tusk, they have giant feet,
It'd be so
you
hard
know?
to get up on its back.
thick skin.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Just tie its nose.
Huh?
Just
Aaron-
tie his nose together.
do you know how fucking strong
That's a
elephant
muscle.
tusks are? It's a solid muscle. Like even flaccid, try to tie your dick in a knot. Now scale it up times 1,000.
I think I'm going to need... I don't know if I can. I have to try. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
All right, it's just an idea. All right, we won't... How about... Can we tie his ears together, like behind his head?
No.
Damn, okay.
They don't touch behind the head like ours do.
Dumbo's does.
His were especially big.
Yeah, all right. Tie his dick to his trunk.
Even flaccid.
Just do that. Now he's rolling around like that guy from Peter Pan.
God.
Hook.
Again, he's not going to willingly let you manipulate his trunk or his dick like that.
Yeah, but a couple of us could, while the other 90 are like distracting him. We just tie his dick to his trunk. Now we've got it.
Many hands make light work. Is that your thinking?
Exactly. Yeah. Someone get his dick. A couple of us get his trunk. Watch it for the feet.
Like even armored and armed, ancient armies had trouble with elephants.
Yeah. With very well trained,
Yeah.
like, unit coordination.
Well, like, yeah, once they figured it out, they dealt with them pretty easy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just not having that plan, they're tough.
Like, if you're just all spawned in a field and the elephant, like, doesn't need a plan, it has its size, it has its strength, and its determination, it's going to start trying to kill 100 humans. Like, you don't, like, get separated into different, like, camps and, like, okay, now the humans have an hour to deliberate and come up with a plan and then prepare the battlefield. You're just fighting, like, right off.
Yeah, it's like a gladiator situation, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in the pit with the elephant, naked.
Naked. Wait, we're naked?
Well, I mean, we have no weapons, so we might as well be naked.
Yeah.
You
What
have-
if my dick gets tied to his trunk? This is dangerous, Rick.
Again, I've
Then
been
he
over
slowed
this.
him down because now he has to move your weight every time he moves the trunk.
Oh, okay, I guess you got a point. All right, I'll help. I'll be the sacrifice.
Your dick would rip off.
Now I'll be holding the trunk for dear
Yeah,
life.
man, he'd rip it off so easy. He'd just move away and it'd rip off.
Yeah.
He'd sneeze.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
the
where's...
elephant is naked. It's only fair.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Mimukumi.
So where's the line then of like, where's the approximate line of like animals that we could take or maybe could take? Like, do we think we could take like lions
I think we-
or alligators?
I think we could take
or-
a lion.
100 people can take a lion. Yeah.
I think 100 people could take a moose.
I think 100 people
yeah.
could probably take a moose. I'm not convinced on a bear. Because bears,
A black bear, yes.
Well,
a black bear, yes.
Well, koala bear.
Like,
A polar bear.
I don't know. About
like an
polar
adult
bears.
And we're
brown
killing that
bear
already,
or
so-
a grizzly bear, especially a polar bear.
They're
The thing
melting
about a
them there.
polar
I
bear,
don't
though,
think
is
so.
that
I don't.
it only attacks in the front.
Yeah, but it's so big
you're-
and strong.
it's
There's
a-
nothing vital in the back.
It's 100 people. The
Yeah.
thing is that, like,
Like,
if you're able to coordinate and attack all at once, like, you can get on top of a
Yeah.
bear and weigh it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just kill
It's
it while
just
it's eating
a
someone's
lot of
butthole.
people are gonna die.
Yes.
Right, Eric?
Or be severely injured.
well,
but,
it's-
like-
that's the thing. It's
but,
not
like, can
killing
you
you
choke
to
a
eat.
bear
It's
out?
killing you so you're dead.
Can you
Right?
choke a bear out?
Yeah, like if you were able to get your legs around a bear's neck.
I get what Calvin means
I'm
too.
sure, like a Gracie, like jujitsu guy,
Get you mean.
could find a way.
You could probably choke out a bear, but it'd take you a bit.
It would.
It would take you both of your arms.
No, wait, you'd be fine because he can't scratch his back, so he can't get you off.
Well, like if
Right? So
could-
get behind him and
He
just start
could
squeezing.
just fall on you.
Yeah, but if he does that, you start punching him in the dick. Like there's 100 people.
I mean, he
You've
can
seen the video of that bear getting kicked in the nuts.
Yeah,
he
he didn't-
still did
they
okay.
can definitely reach their own neck and would slice your arms off.
Well, maybe he accidentally cuts his neck too.
like if you had
Yeah.
enough people to just pile on him, get him down.
Yeah.
if
could,
if
like,
none of the
wrap
people
your
are
legs
afraid
around
of
his neck,
dying,
I think.
sure. Like, we could all just try to cram ourselves down his throat and suffocate him.
We will
could.
kill it.
Yeah.
There'll be no one to tell the tale, but he will be dead.
Sure.
Okay, so we're thinking a bear is iffy. Is that the
The
idea?
bear
then?
is iffy, I
But
would
there's
say.
definitely a reason that like we evolved as tool users.
Yeah.
Yes.
right? Spears and stuff. Like if we had spears and stuff, I think we could take a lot more, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
of course.
Like elephants, we get elephants.
Yeah.
No problem.
We
with spears,
focus
right?
on the knees.
Yeah. Stab in the eyes.
You have a good
Eyes,
spear. I'm
sure.
going to give you the advantage on the cats.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Okay.
If they like charge you,
If I
just
had a minigun, I'd give me the advantage too.
Oh, yeah, but
dumbass.
A sling, and I feel like you've increased their chances by 1,000.
Like a slingshot?
I can go into
Yeah.
the
Or
woods and
just like
find
a-
a spear. I can't go in the woods and find a minigun.
well, even like a thong sling,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like if you put a decent rock in that, you can use it as a cudgel. Like that's reusable.
Mm-hmm.
And in close range combat, that's how they were used.
Yeah, and a sling's like one of the simplest weapons you can have.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Just the human throwing arm is an advantage. It's just that in the other situation,
Sure.
we can't throw anything because we can't have weapons.
Yeah, just chucking rocks at things would help. Right? That scares animals away half the time, right?
Sure.
You ever see
Or
like,
like
the
if you
YouTube
hit them in the
videos?
eye or in the mouth or
Yeah.
teeth or something,
Yeah.
you can cause them pain.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the YouTube videos like where people do like what's the program that they made for Lord of the Rings to have armies fight each other? Massive, I think it was called.
Oh yeah.
They'll use programs like that to have 1,000 Spartans versus 300 Spartans versus 1,000,000 Persians. They actually watch it happen, but it's not at the hot gates, and you just see them die immediately.
Yeah.
Or, sometimes there's really interesting outcomes. We should check some of those out sometime.
Sure. I've seen
And
like
try to guess who wins.
10,000 ninjas versus
Yeah.
100
Knights or something.
like Marines.
Uh,
that kind of thing.
Totally accurate battle simulator.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of tabs, yeah. That's an interesting idea. Like what's something that flies that would be a problem? Like someone said an eagle. Could we take out an eagle? But like the issue there is like, well, you got to get it down and then you got to get it. And then I think once you get it, it might not be too bad.
If you could fold its wings and keep
And choke
it,
it out.
you could probably do something like that, but the strength of its claws and its beak, if it got a hold of you, you would want it to let go immediately.
Like you could definitely break an eagle's bones.
Yeah.
Definitely. So like,
Just getting a hold of it.
yeah, one big bear hug, and I think the eagle's pretty much done.
Just punch it in the cloaca. See what I did there?
But like
Yeah.
a hippo would be rough.
Hippos
In
are
water.
slippery too.
Yeah.
That's the thing, too. Like,
A rhino would be
what
very difficult.
A rhino would
are we just
probably
in
be
like a gymnasium? Are we in like?
Oh man, I didn't even think about the
are we in the
landscape.
water?
I'd say we're in a Roman gladiator arena,
Okay,
To where it's
Colosseum?
a coliseum, because that's where
Like
you would
a
have
s-
people fight. These
like a
guys.
stone
okay.
floor with maybe 3 inches of sand.
Because like a
Something like
giant
that,
squid there
Oh,
is not as threatening as one in the water.
Not true, because they flood that shit.
I will say
yeah?
that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake in the beginning said land animals only because we
He
would
did.
obviously be disadvantaged in the water.
Yeah.
But like, what about like the honey badger?
Oh.
I mean,
One
a honey
honey
badger,
badger?
like
He don't give no fuck.
He's gonna fuck
They-
up a couple people.
it's
They-
like living in Gurren Lagann world, and we're living in the real world.
Yeah.
Like it.
Honey
right.
badgers will fuck up animals that are 10 times their size.
Yeah.
And the bigger animal will give up.
Yeah.
They're like, man, I've tried everything. Like, I can't kill it.
Yeah, honey badgers are they're like the Goku of the animal world.
Yep.
Where like
Goku?
they can't
Yeah.
get better until they've found something they just barely can defeat, and then they get better.
Is that what
You know,
they do?
it's like Goku never loses. He does, but he always comes up to a challenge and then gets above that challenge. But if he didn't have that challenge, he wouldn't have gotten that far, you know?
Like in Gurren Lagann, whoever has the most willpower wins.
Yeah.
And I feel like the honey badger has
Honey
the most
badger willpower.
I have another one that I think we might lose to. I don't know. An anaconda.
They're not as big as the movie, Aaron, first of all.
No.
Against 100 people?
Yeah.
No,
You think
We
you
could
think
win.
so?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you kill it?
Pretty sure on that one.
I mean,
With no
you can
weapon.
strangle
Why
it.
not?
Can you
You just-
strangle it?
Yeah.
Strangle
If you
it, break
get
its
around like the
bones.
base of its skull, if you squeeze real hard and
Yeah.
just twist the head, you can kill it.
Just
Yeah,
get
but how
like
do we get it
30
down?
people in a
Like-
circle to punch at
Well,
the same
if,
time.
if it starts wrapping up on somebody,
Yeah.
you just grab the head.
Okay.
You tie
Okay.
it like your penis, Aaron.
Yeah.
Man, Calvin told you about that, and now you guys keep bringing it up.
Do you think this is
I know
going to
you
be a
guys knew
weird
about that.
hypothetical? But if people with penises had a penis that could move like an
Prehensile
elephant,
penis.
like an elephant trunk,
Yes.
would we cover it up in society?
Or would it be used like a monkey tail?
Or would
Like
we
a
have
spider monkey?
evolved to been like, this is acceptable to have out and used?
I mean, that's not fair.
Why?
Because girls don't get like that extra, like,
Appendage?
yeah, to pick up shit and stuff. Ah, man, I dropped that.
Yeah,
I
but we
understand.
don't get a shelf to hold stuff in.
Okay, is it
Wait,
prehensile?
Well,
okay, hang on. Is it prehensile, but it's the same length that everyone is anymore, or is it more like a trunk of
I think
a
it's like
elephant?
an
where it,
elephant trunk. It's just you're
So it's like
a victim to the amount of real estate you got,
Sure. Like everyone's is different.
which is
But-
true to life. Some people have longer legs, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
okay, but you're saying it's like the same as it is now.
Yeah.
Okay,
But it can be.
But it's not like it
but I
goes.
could like
It doesn't go to my feet.
I can like pick up my
No.
phone and like do cool shit with it because I
Yeah.
have a lot of control. I theoretically could be doing stuff with my hands and then on my phone too.
I mean,
I would say, yeah.
I'm picturing it laying like on the table, and you
I mean,
like
it might
you're
change by
tapping
society.
you're tapping your phone.
Well, it depends.
You know what I mean?
I mean, sometimes I have like I got this and I don't want to talk about it.
I can say one thing though. If you could use your foreskin like a elephant uses the tip of its trunk,
Yeah.
like people
like,
not
pinch?
circumcised anymore.
No.
Because like right now, you could be doing
Like,
the
you just
dishes,
cutting your fingers
and, like,
off.
You could be hanging the towel down there, but you don't,
You're right.
right?
Well, not all the time.
That's true.
I'm gonna say,
And I must say, the times I've done the dishes, generally no.
is
Not
it
every time.
is it still used for everything else it's normally used for?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably say no then,
No.
because like if all of a sudden people could like store stuff very easily and it was acceptable in your butt,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be unsanitary, and I wouldn't want people to just give me stuff from their butt.
Man, think about eating popcorn.
Sure, but I mean, I think it's weird when people.
No, from your
I think
penis.
it's weird if people. It's just as weird if people store stuff in their mouth, but we don't cover that up.
What do you store
Like
in
if
your
someone
mouth?
has had kept something in their mouth all the time, you know.
What?
Yeah, like a toothpick.
Yeah,
I'm
but,
just saying, like, does the benefit outweigh the shame?
yeah, but
And
like
thus,
I'm not
society
going-
evolved in a way where we're not ashamed because it's so useful.
no, I don't know.
No?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
Hmm.
I think we'd still like there'd at least be like loincloth things, right?
Maybe
we could
yeah.
like move out of the way when
Or
we
like-
need to.
Well, like
More-
a lot of it
more
too
kilts
is
or
just,
something?
It's extra vulnerable. It needs protection.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Just imagine like being able to like squat, pick something up, and then throw it to yourself.
I do that with my toes all the time.
Yeah. I just do it with my
Like
feet.
if I drop my phone or something, I'll grab it with my toes and toss it up to myself, so I don't have to bend over and pick it up.
I was thinking more like cloth stuff and stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like a sock, you drop
Eric,
a sock.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
but you might not have evolved the skill with your feet if you were using that. You know,
I'm on the no side. What?
you're on the no side.
I'm on the no side.
Yeah, you need to cover it up.
I
A whole limb, so useful.
a whole
You're just like, no.
limb.
It's a limb now.
Yeah.
You're saying that the elephant trunk isn't a limb they have? It's the one they got?
But it's
Useful.
but they're not. They're just everyone's sizes are the same size as they are now.
What if you
I feel
have
I feel like it's a limb that like, man, I wish I could use it more, but
Yeah.
I can only do so much. You know what I mean? Like it's not
I
like it goes
get
to
you,
my
but, like,
if it goes
it's-
to my feet like an actual elephant trunk, like dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
I feel like you have so much more utility with it. But-
Sure.
But otherwise, like I feel like it's like there's like a smaller group of times that I would like. That's what I should use. You know what I mean?
I feel like
Or maybe,
yes,
like,
there
if
would
we-
be specific accessories for it.
Accessories.
That's
Like an-
true.
Okay.
Yeah, like a wee condom style thing that you just slap on there. You can have
Yeah.
stickers.
Stickers.
Hidden
Man.
knife.
Why stickers?
I don't know.
You
You
can
could
hold a
actually
knife.
play all 3 handles of the
The N64
the N64 controller. Just plop it on your lap and go.
Okay, you do wear conventional pants, but it would be kind of handy. You could like undo your pants without having to actually touch with your hands. You do it down
Ooh,
there.
a zipper from the
Good.
inside.
Yeah, zip it from the inside. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you would never zip yourself into it
Yep.
because you're doing the zipping.
Yeah.
See, I think that's okay.
Yeah,
Because then you could choose to bring it out when you need it. And then you just put it away.
yeah.
Sure.
We just wear like
Truly, like, no hands, urinal use.
I guess, yeah.
I feel like you just have like a sock attached to your pants where it could like do whatever it needs to do without being out in the open.
Like a turtleneck.
So it's still covered, but
A
like
turtleneck
you can still
for...
do stuff with it. It's like a sock puppet.
I'm going to go with no.
All right. Weirdo.
I mean,
Sports?
yeah.
Are there sports for...
Wrestling would be, like they tap out because it got you.
You do penis wrestling.
It's got you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, football is now dick
That would be a
ball.
whole
No.
other element
No.
of jiu-jitsu.
Cockfighting would be much different.
Cockfighting would be way different.
So with
Professional
like,
wrestling.
what about things where it's like typically you wear a cup for this sport?
The mandible claw.
Are you still using it or are you keeping a cup on?
I think that because it's like a trunk, like it's
Or is there like a
it's not
hole-
as vulnerable.
Is there a hole through the cup that it fits through? So
It can, like, recede like a turtleneck.
Oh God! But like you go up to catch the football, and you're like, oh shit, oh like what? I don't know. This seems weird.
Would it be allowed to touch the ball in soccer or football, depending on where you are in the world?
As long as it's not your hand, you can hit with anything. So it already technically can.
The rest
true.
of your
You
body,
can hit
other
that
than
with
your
your dick
hands,
today.
right?
Yeah, it technically can. But I get what you mean, because like, yeah, I'd say
Dr.
yeah.
Cheek said slam junk instead of slam dunk. That cracked me up. Good one.
a little peek behind the curtain. Sometimes when we start podcasts, we're like, "What do you guys want to talk about today?" It's like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we don't.
Weren't we talking about animals and cats and
Yeah, one versus
you were
100.
Yeah.
You were gonna die from kittens. That's what we started.
right.
I think.
Alrighty. Well,
Yeah, it started out from Gigi. And how big Gigi is and how much we would not want to engage with him in a life or death fight.
gotcha. All right. Interesting. The
Thank you. Thank you, Alicia, for the roadmap.
Guys, we'll probably take some questions here in a little bit too. So if you have questions, make sure you submit them on the Twitch channel points. So do that now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where to go to right now. I'm. I feel
We've
all-
talked about Jesus. We've talked about pre-installed penises. I
We
feel like
have.
we've covered it all.
Yeah. Yeah, we've covered a good bit, I suppose. Just
Should we just end now?
No, if we were gonna end, it would have been after your joke.
tying your dick together. That's fun. I think. All right. I will double check questions here soon to make sure I have that ready. We will probably look through whatever memes are being created right now whenever we do the
Bits and donations.
bits and donations here in a little bit.
I should try
So-
to get that ready.
We will have memes in a little bit.
I do want to say, I forget what we were talking about earlier, but it made me think of it. But Evie has shown an interest in Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Yeah?
We are tearing through his filmography.
Oh, yes.
It has been a wonderful experience.
Eat it up. Have you seen Trapped in Paradise, Rick?
I don't think I have.
It's one of my favorite Nick Cage movies.
That's definitely on the list. I think I'm going to try to go through them all. I've been trying to go through all those, and I've been trying to go through all of John Carpenter's movies.
Yeah? That'd be cool.
'Cause he's, I think, my favorite director.
I really want to do Trapped in Paradise for a movie reaction.
Oh,
Because I
maybe
don't
I
think
should
any
wait
of you
then.
guys have seen it, right?
No, I don't know what that is.
You talked about it before, I think, when
Yeah.
we watched the other movie, the Nick Cage movie. I think.
Rick, you got me on forgetting about Dracula.
Man,
You think I remember this?
I guess.
No, it's really good. It's one of my favorite of his.
We should say too that along with streams, Calvin has started a new game. If you guys have missed that,
The Last of Us Part 2,
yeah.
Monday and Wednesday.
Good stuff.
Yep.
On that PS5.
Yeah, the PS5. It looks real good.
Did you hear about PS5s? And we should probably, I don't know if that one over there needs changed, but you're supposed to put them down horizontally now.
Oh.
There's some statistic saying that something fails at a certain percentage for people that keep them vertical.
Huh.
Jancy mentioned, I got to find the actual source.
You do all kind of tricks on my PS2 to get that thing to play towards the end.
Yeah.
Yep. There was like a certain angle I would have it at as it started up. Like once it started reading the disc, it was fine, but getting it to that past the loading screen, like the first one.
Somebody said it was debunked. The original post said it was a misunderstanding.
Oh, good. Because I
Okay.
heard about it and I still haven't changed any of mine. Here or at home.
Geez, Eric, you fell for it like that one guy who was like, to fix scratch the PS2 games, put them in water and put that in the microwave.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the 360 and also one of the old Apple computers. Like you had to turn them on, wrap them in towels, so they would purposely overheat.
And
Something
resolder
would get
themselves.
like resoldered
yeah.
or whatever, and that would fix the issue.
I've
Sometimes,
seen-
or it would just completely break it.
It was a luck thing, though, right? Like, there's no guarantee that it
No.
would overheat enough to resolder itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
it's like if
I-
you had no other options, it's like, well, try this.
I've seen
And sometimes
people
it works.
also take the plastic casing off of it and put it in their oven at like 200 degrees
Yeah.
and do it that way as well. And for some people it worked, other people it didn't.
I think, like, if I remember correctly, back in the day, I believe that was something that, like, Apple suggested to people.
Wrapping
Really?
the towels.
Yeah, to like, fix it.
Wrap it in a towel.
That's like
Not like send it in, let's fix it. Then they made Genius bars, and they were like, hey, don't do that.
that's like a NASA figuring out how to bring an astronaut back
Apollo
solution.
13.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now you don't need this spare spacesuit, so rip it up, wrap it around the console, and hope that it fixes itself. Get back to us when you can.
Reminds me, there was a random video I saw, and I'm like, I don't know if any of this is true, but it was talking about NASA, and it was like NASA from, I don't know, the 50s to the 70s used to explore the ocean,
Yeah.
and then they stopped and pushed a whole lot more into space program. And it was like, what the hell do they find down there?
That they
were
gave
like,
up
Let's
and
get
like-
the hell off this planet. And I was like, that's funny.
Yeah.
It also was a little scary, too, because I'm like, oh, I don't know.
And they found a lot of shit down there. There's still undiscovered species at the bottom of the ocean. Just because technologically we can't get there.
Well, that's a story with, there was that one movie, I guess I won't say exactly, but the idea of it was that they're going deep under the ocean and they come to like I don't know, I'm just going to call it a cloud because I don't know what to call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like a cloud in the ocean, and because they pierced this and made a hole in like the, I don't know, gas, chemical, whatever stuff that's making up this kind of cloud in the ocean, whatever is down below it doesn't pass that cloud, and it made an opening where like this monster was able to escape from it. So like there's
Right.
a whole ecosystem down there below this cloud in the ocean, but because they opened it, something escaped, and it was just like, oh no, what do we do now? So, but I thought it was an interesting idea,
Yeah.
just being like, that's where they stay. That's where the little light, what are they called?
Anglerfish?
Anglerfishes. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're deep down there, and that's why they have a little light on their head. So
Yep. Blobfish, unfortunately named because they brought it to the surface before they named it.
did it turn to a blob?
Yeah.
By the
It
time it got up?
decompressed and it turned into a blob.
Is that the one that has like the big nose?
Yeah. It looks like a big nose with like puffy lips.
Where you get to the surface and it just blobs out.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, that's sad.
Cthulhu's down there sleeping somewhere.
Who?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu? Not like the Pacific Rim monsters or anything?
I mean, maybe them too. I don't know. They're like roommates.
Yeah, that's what I want. Odd couple. Cthulhu and something else.
Odd couple. We should say too that in case you guys have missed it, on the 26th, so not next Thursday, but the Thursday after, is going to be the next Badonkagonk podcast.
Nice.
Where we're going to be talking about the audio, not book, audio drama, I guess, of Dooku Jedi Lost,
Yeah.
and some other
That
things.
and more.
Yeah.
Ooh.
With that, I was going to bring
More.
up Fabuccino, who had a question for Rick and Calvin.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry, Eric and Aaron. Have you found yourself at all following Badonkagonk and the book club, or read any Star Wars books on your own? Much love, also to Aaron and Eric.
I have not. It is something that I want to get into. Just finding the time and remembering that there are books to read, like before to go to bed or something like that. I have Dune sitting by my bed right now that I want to finish it, but I have not yet.
Gotcha.
So maybe some Star Wars books after that.
Yeah, I don't read much fiction, and when I do, it's usually like older stuff.
Older stuff.
Yeah, like classics.
You read some Star Wars back in the day, though, right?
I did, yeah. Growing up, I read the Jedi Apprentice books, and I really liked them.
Jude Watson.
Yeah.
Yep, those were great.
Yeah. It's been fun reading through books, though. Like, I guess not reading them. It's been fun listening through the book stuff. Just some of the fun stories and stuff, and like connecting it to like other elements of Star Wars. I'm like, oh, this is this. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. And so this new one has been fun. There's been a few things I'm like, ooh, neat. I like this.
It's always fun for me to, especially when I'm trying to cram. I'm like, oh, I gotta get it finished to see like how much can I comprehend if I increase the speed of this.
Sure.
Sure. A lot of mine is I'm worried of like what's my comprehension versus like with speed.
Yeah.
With like how long. Like if I finish it early and then versus finishing it like the night before.
Yeah.
Like do I comprehend more this way or that way? Like I guess preferably if I could finish it twice, I should really comprehend it much more. You know.
True.
But I don't always get that much time. So but it's been fun. I've enjoyed a lot of the stories and stuff, and a lot of the conversations and whatnot that we've had about it.
Yep, definitely. I want to jump into comics at some point too.
Comics.
That could be cool.
Those will be a bit quicker to get through.
They will.
Yeah. A lot more visual media.
There's some other questions too. If you guys want me to cover some questions right now,
Sure.
Questions.
before we get into like memes or anything else that we have.
Yes.
Let's see here. We got Clement Fever 94 who says, "You guys hyped for the Last of Us TV show? It's my favorite game of all time, and I am so hyped."
I saw you in chat last night. I'm pretty hyped for it. Just knowing the two main actors in it, and seeing some of their off-screen
Chemistry.
chemistry. Yeah, I can't wait.
No, I agree. I mean, I already love those stories and those characters, but you know, a role like Joel and Ellie, like, you know, there's no one Macbeth. There's no even our own, like, who's the one Batman? You know, anybody can bring something interesting to characters, and I'm very excited to see Pedro Pascal take on that role.
Yeah.
Everything I see him in, he's always showing something new. So I'm excited for it. And, you know, some people might say, like, well, he's already in a Wolf and Cub show. It's like, yeah, but you can't see his face. I need to be able to see his face.
Yeah.
I want to. So
Yeah, he's got to be careful he doesn't get typecasted.
I know, right?
But he's so good at it.
He's going to be on two of the biggest shows at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? Because Last of Us will go into Mandalorian.
It's true.
So I'm very excited for it. The only thing is that I obviously already kind of know the story, so I will be interested in differences, but I don't want that to, you know, be something that distracts for me. I want it to add for me, you know?
Sure.
I will just kind of go into it thinking about the multiverse. This is a different version of the story. What's same is same, what's different is different, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's
Yeah.
going to work better as a TV show than it did as a game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love the first game. I want to play the second one at some point, but I really enjoyed Pedro a lot. So I'm excited to see him as a character in that. And I'm very interested to see, I guess the comparison more so of like, what do they do with it to keep it either like the same or to differentiate it from, I guess kind of like Walking Dead, right? Like Walking Dead had the comics and there's some similarity they do to the comics, but there's also some like curveballs they throw that are like, well, this isn't what happened in the comics. It happened this way. So sometimes it's a
MCU,
character
right?
living longer. Sometimes it's a character dying sooner.
And similar to that, you know, Robert Kirkman worked on both of those versions of his story, right? And then we have the same thing happening with The Last of Us, right?
Yeah.
the main creative there,
Yeah.
working on it too. And apparently that's going to happen with Amazon and God of War as well.
Ooh. Yeah.
Is what I've heard. So we'll
Good.
I think Kojima is working on a Death Stranding project too.
And I'm loving all these adaptations.
I wonder what we do for.
I'm actually kind of nervous about God of War. I don't know why.
I hope half are good.
Like when you say like, well, this might make a better
Oh, no.
video game. Like I don't know if you can make a better movie or TV show
Oh,
than
someone's
God
at
of
the
War
front.
can make a video game.
I don't think so.
You know?
Someone's
Ready
at
to
the
go?
front for Papa John's. I'm calling
Papa
back.
John's.
Tell them they're not there.
Papa Joe.
Sorry, I missed the phone call and then saw the text message come through my watch.
Christopher Judge would be difficult to replace. You're right.
Yeah.
Saw someone say Batista, and I was like, the only reason I like that is because he's Greek. That works.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
They didn't answer.
Get Gerard Butler back in that kind of shape.
Oh, that could be interesting. I could see that.
A little older now. Critters is older in that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Depending on when they start, I guess.
Yeah. Do you start in the Norse or do you stick with the Greek?
I would start with the Greek because
Yeah. And people forget, like there's some crazy stuff in those first three games, especially the second and third.
definitely.
I don't know. So that's like the only one of those major adaptations that I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. Everything else I'm generally
Well,
excited
we got
for.
Mario coming out soon.
We do.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, you're right.
This
Yeah.
would be the second Mario movie we ever
I'm
had, right?
not going to be able to just say the Mario movie anymore. I'm
I
going to have to
know,
clarify.
man.
Yeah, animated. Yeah, I know. We need to watch that before that comes out.
We do, but it's not streaming anywhere.
No, I have it.
Yeah, we got it, but generally we try to do stuff that people can stream so they can follow along if they want with full length.
Let's just buy the rights. Stream it ourselves.
Can't be as much as WWE.
Can't be as much.
You're right. It's not as much.
Huh. I never looked at the ratings for the movie.
You mean Rotten Tomatoes style ratings?
Like, I have IMDb, Metacritic, and Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, IMDb has a 4.1 out of 10. Metacritic has a 35%. Rotten Tomatoes has a 29%.
Dang.
I mean, that's not as bad as it could be.
Not as bad as
That's
I
not
thought
like
it would be.
Uwe Boll level.
Sure. I think those are unwatchable sometimes. like, there's some of those movies where I'm just like, mm-mm. But yeah, we should watch that. When does it come out? April 7th is when the Mario movie comes out. So we should watch the original Mario movie before that Mario movie comes out. As we should do. But yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very interested in Last of Us. I'm excited to see what they do with the story for all that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me. Is this the right one? Yeah. This was from Error to the Face who said, "Hey there, guys. I hope all is well. Sending in my question now because I have to get back to a 12-hour course.
Oh,
Is your favorite show of all time the best show you've ever seen, or are they different in your minds? For example, I believe the best show I have ever seen is Breaking Bad, but my favorite show of all time is Psych." So
My answer would be yes, but I can't give you what each is. I don't know. I have too many options. I change.
you don't know what the
day-to-day.
best show you've ever watched of all time would be?
No. It's so hard to compare. I actively don't like to compare, so it's difficult for me.
Like Berserk is definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best that I've seen.
I mean, I get what you mean, I guess.
yeah.
Like the thing about comparing things, like these things weren't necessarily made to be compared to other stuff, you know? Like they're pieces of art. They're there for you to react to, emote to, and then to move on,
depends.
you know?
Like
Sure.
some shows and movies go in literally saying like Die Hard on a bus.
Thank you.
Oh, I get you. But that's a marketer. That's not necessarily the filmmaker, you know?
I get what you
and
mean.
I don't want, like, that's why I don't, sometimes watch every single trailer because, well, the marketing team wants to get me in the seat. But if I'm going to be there anyway, I want to be able to experience it as the filmmaker wants me to experience it.
Sure.
I'm not saying
So,
it's like,
like,
invalid to compare. I just don't want it to be like the first thing I do.
So like a remake of something, like you don't think that they're expecting like it will be compared to the original?
I think that you can say that maybe. It depends on like the audience it's meant for, but I think it's fair to compare like the Aladdin cartoon to the Aladdin movie.
I think just from director to director, like I will compare, like I will have expectations from the last movie of them that I saw. Then we'll compare.
Yeah, I think as far as like a remake goes, I think it does draw like a comparison in the same way that like just watching any movie for the first time, whether you believe it's a good movie or a bad movie, draws a comparison to like all the other movies that you watched.
I suppose.
Well, like when you watch a new Batman cartoon, do you not compare it to like the animated series?
I mean, I probably do. I don't think I should. You know, like if I have two kids that drew me a picture, I can compare each picture to each other and try to find who's the better drawer, but they're expressions of art. Like they both have their own merits, have nothing to do with each other sometimes. You know?
That's true, but
and I can miss that by being like, well, which one has the ears I like?
But these things also can cost you in time or money. And so, like, I want to spend both of those things as best as I can.
Sure.
So, like, I want to know which is the best of these.
Yeah, but art isn't objective. So, like, there is no best. There's what you think there is, but you can't, just because one person says this is better than this doesn't mean it is. You know? You can say, like, well, there's all the hive mind of humanity can judge upon these, but even that, I think, can be kind of a disservice to art, too. I don't know.
But we have art critics.
And I realize I have a hot take here. I do.
No, yeah.
I think you're just making excuses so you don't have to compare things.
Not necessarily. I will and have over hours of our streams comparing things. I just don't like to do it. I think that it can. I do think that it can be unfair sometimes too.
I like the thing here is like, can't you compare the emotional impressions you get from things?
I mean,
like how it makes you feel. Can you be like, well, I like this one better because it makes me feel this way versus this makes me feel this way?
I think you can, but I mean, emotion
You're just saying
isn't
you
just.
shouldn't do
It's
that,
not
though?
just like angry, like one emotion. Like you can have the emotion of love can be family love. It can be romantic love. You know, like so many different emotions have so many different spectrums. So just because I get a feeling of like, you know, justice when I watch Batman, I can get a completely different feeling of justice when I watch 300, you know, like, and you don't really need to compare them in a way.
I mean, I don't think I would compare 300 and Batman.
Sure.
Probably.
But if
Unless
asked to
I was
pick
asked
my
to
favorite,
compare 300 and Batman.
If asked to pick my favorite, I'm forced to,
Yeah.
you know, which is why I kind of don't like to answer the question.
All right, so out of 300 and Batman, which one's your favorite?
300 Batman?
300 or Batman? Not 300 Batman.
Oh, I was like 300 Batman.
Men. Excuse me.
Well, there's
That'd be
some.
crazy, wouldn't it?
I had to pick a Batman. I can't just say all of Batman.
So now do you got to compare them?
Well, I would probably ask you to which Batman.
You pick.
I pick which Batman.
You pick which Batman.
So I just randomly pick Tim
Or-
Burton Batman.
You can decide how you want to pick it.
I've randomly picked Tim Burton's first Batman
Well, why'd you pick that one?
because that.
Why didn't you pick George
You allowed
Clooney?
me. You why? So I ask you which one. You say you pick, and then I pick, and you ask why. Like,
Well, yeah, that's why you picked that one.
Well, yeah, he's
it's just the.
qualifying
It's the.
it.
yeah. I'm like, did you
I
pick
tried
him
to pick
because-
one at random.
Did you pick him? Did you pick him at random, or did you
Yeah.
pick him because he's like you didn't pick George Clooney or
No.
Val Kilmer? Do you think he's a better fighter? Did you like his gadgets? Did you like his movies?
Mm-hmm.
Would you pick like Val Kilmer over 300?
I think I picked that Batman because it was my first Batman, which doesn't mean the best Batman.
Sure,
it was
that's
just
fair.
the first.
And it also kind of removes the randomness then too. It's more of a nostalgia factor, right?
Sure. Well, it's just like when I think of default Batman, because you didn't give me a specific, I defaulted to my first, which I think is fair.
I think that a lot of what compares is relating to nostalgia. A lot. I think
can.
what we had first that we've seen really influences what we enjoy as we get older.
Definitely.
So I think like that kind of
I get
scenario
you.
there of being like, oh, well, I'll pick Michael Keaton. Like in comparison, you're gonna probably think about Michael Keaton every time you watch a Batman movie.
Sure.
And you're gonna compare that Batman or that movie to what you saw when you were a kid. You know.
Yeah. But do you think that to give something its honest shake, do you think that you should default to not comparing it to anything?
To give it an honest shake.
Yeah.
Unless
I mean, so much of movie culture, TV culture these days is just, you know, it's grifters. So much of it is grifters that are being like the worst imaginable, you know, spits in the face of the legacy of what came before, that type of thing. Which, I mean, you take that to its logical point, then nothing can ever be new or original because I have to compare it to everything that's ever existed.
I agree
You
to
know?
a certain point. Like, I don't like it when it's used for a negative connotation, but
Yeah.
when you're trying to explain an idea or a story to someone, you filter things through what you know.
Yeah, you explain the unknown.
Right?
with
That's
the
why
known.
when I'm like trying to describe like a complex or confusing idea, like I'll
Sure.
use Star Wars and
Yeah.
compare it like that for you, so that
Yeah.
you okay, and you just have it in your frame of mind of this is like the interaction of
Sure.
everything.
I usually
So-
go in 3 stages. I go, okay, what do I think of this on its own merits? Where do I rank this in its genre or subgenre? And then where in all time?
Like especially movie wise.
Especially movie-wise, yeah. So it's like if I watch 47 Ronin, it's like, okay, what do I think of this movie? All right, now what do I think of this in terms of samurai movies?
Sure.
Now what do I think of this in all movies?
Well, because even like, I think like the Justice League movie, great example. I think it's impossible not to compare
Agreed.
the Joss Whedon with the Zack Snyder version.
Yeah.
I think it's impossible to.
I mean, whenever it's literally using the same material and resources, like you have to.
Possible
Yeah.
for me.
But they're like
It is.
they're like completely different movies.
Yeah.
No, they are.
There's similar characters and stuff.
But one is an artist creating art, and the other was a corporation hiring a director to come in and fix what they thought was an artist not doing what the artist should do. So like, it's such a weird anomaly of a movie
Sure.
that I'll grant you, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's fair to compare.
But I think like if that's the case, then I feel like that's the case with like all movies and media and stuff like that in general, where it's like, well, we have Man of Steel and then we have Batman v Superman, and I'm like, well, I would say compared to Man of Steel, I didn't like Batman v Superman as much, like because it's also like it's in a way that's also sequels.
Yeah.
It's also talking about the same characters and stuff. If you get further from that, then you start, I imagine, comparing. In a sense, for me, like I'm gonna compare Christopher Reeves to like Henry. You know what I mean? And then that is like, I have nostalgia for these characters that I've seen before, and this is my Superman. But now, is this my Superman? Like, where's your default?
I guess my question is, why do you have to have one?
One default?
Yeah.
Doesn't
Like,
every-
I
you-
love
you
Phantom of the Opera.
Like you defaulted with a Batman. Why do you have a default Batman?
well, because you forced me to.
I forced you to have a
You
default.
said pick, yeah,
I didn't have
right?
to. I told you,
You
pick a
said
random
Batman versus 300.
I said pick a random Batman.
So I did.
And you said, well, that's my default. Like,
Yeah.
you told me that was your default. I
yeah,
didn't
but
tell you to pick
like,
a default.
I'm a big fan of like Phantom of the Opera, and
Yeah.
there's like 7 Phantoms that I like, and I
Sure.
don't have a favorite. I like all of their interpretations. But if you said no, pick one, I'm gonna have to like, well, can I refuse? No, pick one. And then suddenly I'm putting art against art, and I feel
Well,
like
sure,
I kind of feel
but-
like that's anti-art.
I never asked you for Batman to
Sure.
pick your favorite or pick the best or pick. I just said pick one.
Yeah.
Pick one at random.
Which I did.
You said
Yeah.
I default to Michael Keaton as my Batman,
Yeah.
so I picked him. I never made you pick a default.
Sure.
I never.
You didn't
chose
give
your
me enough
default.
parameters.
I
to
just
pick
said
one.
pick whichever Batman you want.
Yeah.
You could have picked Batman animated series like Kevin.
Sure.
You could have picked Dark Knight of
Sure.
Christian Bale. But you chose, and you're the one who admitted what the default was.
Exactly.
I didn't.
Yeah.
So you've already compared those in your head.
I haven't compared them. I just randomly picked one because you were like,
No,
here's a
hang on,
Batman.
hang on.
Which one do you go? I went Tim Burton because it was my first Batman.
Sure, but
Right?
it
There's
was-
no comparison
It was
there.
you who said that was your default.
Well,
You had-
default doesn't mean
you
like
at some
best.
point in your mind has compared them to make one your default Batman. That if you're going to think of Batman, this is who I think of. Why don't you think of the other ones as your default Batman?
Can you say that like comparison? Like I wouldn't say that like
No, hang on.
one in comparison. It was just my first.
Why didn't you pick? Why don't you have any of the other Batman as your default Batman?
Well, whenever you said pick a Batman,
Sure.
I go, okay, who's my Batman? I went with the first one because I feel like that's a pretty fair thing to do, right? But I
Sure.
wasn't comparing Batman against each other. I simply picked one in a line of Batman.
Sure, but like you did.
So
that
there was
in
no
your,
comparison.
and
There was chronological comparison, I suppose, if that's what you want to go with. And the fact that it's the first one that entered my brain in my life.
sure. So
But I
that's-
wouldn't say that
that's
I
the first
picked it.
Batman you ever had. Is
Yeah.
what you were saying, right?
Yes.
So is that why he's your default? Because you're the one who said the word default. That's why I didn't
Yeah.
make a default for you. You chose him. So I'm just saying, like, I didn't tell you compare them.
Yeah.
I just told you to pick one.
Sure. But my
So,
contention is that it has
in-
nothing to do with comparing it to any other Batman, other than the fact that it was the first one that I've ever seen.
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like if you were just like, it's just who popped in my head. Like if you said, Aaron, pick a Batman, I'd be like, George Clooney. I
Sure.
was like, is that your favorite Batman? Like, no, he's not my favorite.
Yeah.
But that's what maybe just popped in my head. It's not my default Batman. It's not my go-to Batman. It's not my favorite Batman. That's just random. So for you to be like, Aaron, you made me pick a default. Like, no, I just told you to pick a Batman. If I say pick a Superman too, who would you pick as your Superman? To like pair off, like we're gonna make a movie. Pick a Superman that you've had. Pick a Batman you've had. We're gonna make a new Batman Superman movie.
Sure.
You still got to pick two.
Well, my contention
it's
isn't
your
like
reasons as to
how
why
I picked it, but that you asked me to pick it all. Like I can have multiple Supermen.
You can, but not in a
And
movie.
then when I see a new Superman, I can just enjoy that Superman. I don't have to go like, Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeves, you know?
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
But in the scenario that we had created, I needed a Batman and asked you to pick a Batman.
Without you giving me any direction, I had to pick a direction on my own.
Which is perfectly fine. Yeah. So I don't know
what
why
are we
you're
arguing
like,
about?
I don't know why you're mad at me for like making
I'm not
you compare.
mad.
I didn't make you compare anything.
Yeah.
I just asked you to pick a Batman.
Sure.
So if I asked you to pick a Superman, who would you pick?
What's the parameter in which I'm picking?
Like I said, I'm going to make a movie. I already have Michael Keaton as Batman. I need a Superman.
So I'm just going to blindly find a Superman?
Exactly. Pick a Superman. It can be any way you want to pick it. You can pick a
I
cartoon.
don't know. Anyone I pick, you're going to like put all these things on me where I'm like, oh, that's your favorite, or that's the one that you're picking.
I didn't put anything on you before.
Yeah.
I just asked you why you picked that one. That's the only thing I did. I feel like you're kind of artificially putting in that I'm making you compare, when all I did was just ask you to pick one.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Well, you were asking me to pick it to compare it to something else, right? You
we were
said
talking
Batman
about
to
like
300.
300 versus Batman.
Yeah.
Then we started talking about Batman. Then I asked
and
you
I said,
why
well, I don't know which
Batman.
which Batman are we talking about?
Sure.
Not all of Batman. It would be unfair
Yeah, he
to
can't
put
fight all
300 against all of Batman.
Especially like if you had 300 Batman.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a cool movie idea. We should do that.
It's called Batman Inc.
Called what?
There's a comic, Batman Inc., where Batman incorporates Batman across the entire world.
So like he just makes there's not all Bruce Wayne's in.
No,
it's just
but
like
it's a
bunch of
Batman every city.
Families and stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you have a Superman though?
I'm
just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, like, which one comes into my mind first. I mean, it's probably Christopher Reeve, just because I'm so musically minded, and I do think that the John Williams Superman theme is the quintessential. I mean, the poster said it, will make you believe a man can fly.
Sure,
you know?
yeah.
So I go there, but then if you're asking, like, what one do I feel closest to, I'm going to say Clark Kent from Smallville. Which one did I think matches the comics the most? You know,
Well,
which one?
So the things I'm not asking any of those.
Yeah.
The thing I asked you was like, I'm going to make a movie. You've already picked Michael Keaton as Batman. I need a Superman to go with him. Who do we pick?
We're making a movie?
That's what I said this so
I
long ago.
Well, if we're making a movie, I'm gonna pick none of them. I'm gonna do a new Superman and make my own art and try to express myself through Superman that way.
No, we need an old Superman. That's what we're doing. That's what was stipulated. You can't just change the stipulations.
But like trying to bring it back to the original of like I don't enjoy my own personal belief is I actually kind of think that comparison kind of is kind of anti-art sometimes. Not all the time.
I would disagree because my favorite example is the shot-for-shot remake of Psycho.
Sure.
Which, if you look at it as a movie, like it does not at all hold up to the original. But which is what I think is the case, if the intention of the director to make that movie was to prove that you can't remake Psycho, then the remake all of a sudden maybe becomes a better piece of art than the original does. Because, like, if its intent was to prove that it can't be good, it's therefore not good, and therefore has done what it set out to do.
So the intent on the shot-by-shot remake is not to compare to the original, but what?
It is, and it's to show you that that's folly.
Wouldn't that be like? Isn't that kind of like poisoning the well, where it's like your example is the thing that's made to be compared, as opposed to other new original ideas that aren't really meant to be compared to other things?
He also stated that depending on what that movie's going to do.
Yeah.
Like you're not saying that that's what that movie's trying to do, right?
Yeah, I don't 100% know.
You're saying that if it just went to be a movie,
it
didn't do a good job at it.
Sure.
But if it's going to try to prove that you can't just make a shot-for-shot remake and that it's good, it has proved that. Thus,
it's done that really well.
Thus, it's better on those merits. But that's not what that necessarily is trying to do.
Sure.
You're talking about the Vaughn one, right?
Yeah. So, like, sometimes the comparison is the art.
I would say that's fair, but I wouldn't say that applies to everything. And I would probably say that shouldn't apply to most things. But I will concede that sometimes you're supposed to, especially stuff like, sequels I think are in a murky area sometimes. Like you have to at least consider the other thing, right?
Everyone compared Indiana Jones 4 to every other Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And I've definitely heard like Nicolas Cage and different actors say like, I base my performance off from this performance.
Yeah.
So like they themselves in creating the art are comparing
I get you.
the performance.
The thing that maybe we find more common ground when we talk about when you're doing the comparison, right? Because when I watch something, I'm trying to just be in the moment of what the filmmaker is trying to pull me, if I'm going to do comparison, it's going to be hours or days or weeks or years after I've watched the thing, But I feel like there's a strange thing in our culture these days, our media literacy, where people like are doing it while they're watching it, or even worse, far before it comes out because of trailers or even leaks. Like, one of the, Calvin, you're playing Last of Us 2 at this point.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, that's a big controversy. I don't think the controversy would have been anywhere where it is right now if a lot of that shit hadn't leaked and people just read sentences off of the page
rather than playing the game,
rather than actually playing the game as the storyteller meant you to play and experience, right? So like the only thing I'm really trying to push back on is like I just feel like sometimes there's an obsession to rank things and compare them when it's not really you're not really meant to, and in fact sometimes I think it can kind of be like a worm in your mind that makes you not enjoy stuff as much.
Sure.
Maybe, but it can also do the opposite, I think. I can watch this and be like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Sure, yeah.
Like, this is the best. And I'm going through and I see how much greater it is because I've seen all these other things that are less.
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Neil Brainwright?
Maybe.
So do you think like comparing wise should be like, don't do it right away, like you should wait?
Like whenever I watch something, the thing that I tend to do is like, as soon as I'm done, I'm like, all right, did I like that more than I disliked it? And if I did, I'm like, okay, why? And I try to be internal with the thing that I liked, not external. I don't want to go outside the scope of the artist's point of view until I've exhausted how I felt about the journey I went on with them, right? And I just feel like the next day after a movie comes out, you get these videos that pop up being like the worst movie in the world, and they do that because they're comparing it to all these other things when it's not the worst movie in the world.
Well,
you're being hyperbolic. And,
I think it's a click thing too, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a click thing.
Part of the
but
issue
I think
too
that it's
is
fueled by comparison.
I think part of the issue too is like in the world that we live in currently with media and internet and everything, like you have those kind of things being pushed because that is what brings clicks and stuff, right?
Sure.
And when you compare something as like, worse than maybe some movie that people really like, or better than this or whatever, you're taking everyone who likes this thing.
Sure.
Like, well, I better check this video out to see how it compares and why they're saying this or that. And I think that happens a lot. And I think it's more of just like, I feel like comparisons maybe happened, I don't know, it felt like they happened less, but they probably happened about the same. It's just, it wasn't as widespread as it is now.
Well,
I
feel like what happened a lot in the past when it came to film and things, like, a director had just an amazing 10 out of 10 movie, and then like their next movie would be looked at less because people would be like, wow, this is good, but it's not that. And then like that next movie after the big one would be forgotten.
Yeah. I mean, I understand, like it's human nature to compete, right? And to win. Like that feeling, like it floods your brain with serotonin and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I sometimes feel like we shouldn't apply that to art sometimes. Like that, because it's all started with like someone saying, what's your favorite movie? Or, I can't remember the exact same thing. But I was forced to go
answer this question.
Yeah, but I was forced to go, what's my favorite movie? And I hate the question sometimes because now I'm suddenly taking things I love and trying to pick my favorite. I don't have children, but if I had 10 kids and you said pick your favorite, I could be like, well, I could, but I probably shouldn't. I don't think that's fair to the kids.
Yeah, just don't tell them.
Sure.
That's the rule.
That's the rule.
As long as they don't find
just
out,
don't let them
you're
know what happened. Not to say that art is I look at art as my children, but in terms of like appreciating something on its own, I just think has become very devalued these days.
No, and I fully understand and agree with that too. I don't think that comparing things that doesn't have its value.
Yeah.
But I do think like art, like lots of times things aren't looked at as art. But there's other times too where it's like, well, I don't know that this is art necessarily.
Sure.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like there's value in this as an art piece or whatever. But then also, I feel like in doing so, I'm naturally comparing it to other things that I would consider art.
Yeah.
So in order for me to classify something as art, I have to compare it with what I know that I classify as art. So it's kind of like a weird circle that, like, while I agree with you, I feel like you can't get away from comparing things in that kind of scenario. You know what I mean? Like, if I just painted something, like, you can just say it's art because I painted something.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be hanging up next to the Mona Lisa. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends. Because art is an expression.
I painted it.
Yeah, but I could talk to you about it. I could be like, why did you do it this way? What did it make you? Why? What does this make you feel? If you're trying to express yourself, not just like Eric or Aaron draw a stick figure, but like Aaron, draw your childhood. You know, like
I don't know what that means.
I know, but it's fascinating to find out what you thought it meant, which is art,
and to try to illustrate it in a way that someone else could understand.
Sure. And if you know,
but just because you find a drawing on the ground doesn't mean that it's just art, right?
No,
like it could just be scribbles or doodles or whatever. That's not necessarily art.
But if I had,
but
if I had Picasso and you beside each other, I'd ask you both to draw your childhood.
Sure,
he's going to be better.
I feel like that's okay.
But you're both put your childhood on the paper.
But in order to get to that point, you need to be able to classify what is art, right?
Yeah.
Which means you have to naturally compare things to be like, that's not art, that is art, right? So like I think there's already a natural comparison involved in some of that stuff where we're already comparing things in that kind of process to classify art as whatever art is.
So would you say that you have to compare?
I think there needs to be some kind of comparison to be able to be like, this is art, right? Like if I just drew a line on a piece of paper and hung it up.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to call it art?
I mean, I might have to ask you. I might not like it.
Sure.
You know, but that's me just appreciating art still, right?
Like if I have no intentions of any, I just drew a thing, put it in a frame, hung it on a wall. I'm like, I'm gonna see if I ever call that art. I have no intentions of anything with that.
It's not about if I call it art. It's do you call it art?
No, I don't.
Okay, well then it's not art. You didn't express yourself.
What
with
if
art.
Calvin walks over and goes, "Wow, look at that," you know? And I think that's the thing. I think art isn't. I think art falls to individual people. Like I might look at something, and be like, I don't understand how this is art.
Yeah,
it looks like a pile of trash. But someone else looks at it and is like, oh, wow, look what they've done with this. It really pushes the idea of global warming and how it's destroying the earth, you know, all this kind of stuff.
I understand beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But what I'm saying is, like, if you put a line up there and I say, what are you trying to express with this? And you go, nothing. I'm trying to trick people into thinking it's art. I'm going to be like, all right, I have nothing to say. But if you were like, actually, you started talking about it and showing what was put into it.
What if you didn't talk to me and you just saw it? Like sitting next to the Mona Lisa,
I would do what I did before, where I'd say I dislike this more than I like it.
Yeah,
but I'm not comparing it to anything.
Wasn't the banana taped to the wall a mockery of modern art, and yet everyone else called it art, and it sold for like $2 million?
Yeah, it is because it's not that's why we have these conversations. Like, there's no real answer.
Yeah,
and what that person did though is kind of like art by society, right? Like they put that on there with the intent and the expression to get people to read into something that was never there. And that in itself is a piece of art, It's kind of like its own subset, but it still is.
Sure.
Which is why it sells for $1 million, And it's effectively a banana peel that's going to rot away.
That's going to rot away.
Yeah. I think it's a really interesting topic, and I can't believe we did this after the dick that you can move around like an elephant trunk.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We also, before we wrap this up,
yes,
because we need to do our memes and bits and donations.
Absolutely.
Stuff. The question Air to the Face had asked, is your favorite show of all time the best show you've ever seen, or are they different in your minds?
They are different.
They're
very different.
Especially for video games. Like, I think Tetris is the best video game ever made, but it's not my favorite.
You think Tetris is the best video game ever made? Tetris?
Tetris. It's perfect.
All right. That's the great thing about what favorites and stuff are, because I'm like, I don't agree with that, but if it's perfect for you, it's perfect for you, which I think is also reflective of art in general. I would probably say I agree with you with that idea as well. I think I know what is my favorite, and typically my favorite isn't always what's the best, but it's also hard to classify, I think, too, of like, what is the best? Like, is it the best to me, or is it the best to like the wider audience of like the world? You know what I mean? I don't know.
It might be going too deep.
Too deep. We're talking about art Eric took it
You're
deeper.
gonna pierce that cloud Aaron was talking about earlier and release the Kraken.
Down in the ocean,
Yeah.
right?
I think I was just frustrated that I'm unable to answer the question. I'm sorry.
You can't answer if you think your best show is your favorite show?
I don't know.
Like, I'm not even thinking necessarily of what I think is my favorite show or my best show.
Yeah.
I'm quite confident that they are not the same. Also,
But what if it is?
I don't think my favorite show is like a show that I've watched a ton of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think you can have, like, this is my favorite show ever. It's like, well, how many times you watched it? Like, I only watched it once, but it was great, and I loved it. Versus there's other shows and stuff like Psych. I like Psych a lot. I don't know if it's my favorite show, but I've watched that all the way through a couple times, and I don't do that very often with TV shows.
I'm the opposite. If I love something, I watch it a million times.
See, on the same reasoning why you want the comparison of, like, what's the best is why I don't watch a bunch of things over and over, because I've already seen it. I want to see something new or something else.
Sure.
And then if I start it and I don't like it, then I'll move on to something else.
See,
The only times I usually replay things is like I was in the kitchen a lot cooking and stuff, and during that time I'd have background noise, and that was like Psych, and I'd be able to laugh along with something I've already seen, but not have to pay super good attention to know what the plot and story and everything was. So that's usually the only time I usually rewatch is when
Like,
it's
normally
more
I
in
can't
the background.
appreciate something. Like, the stuff I love has to be watched many times in order to get everything from it, I feel like.
To get everything from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Like you can squeeze a sponge out and think you got all the water, but then you squeeze it again and there's more drips. There's more drips.
Like you're
every
looking at,
time you
like-
squeeze it, right?
Yeah, like little Easter eggs and extra things you didn't notice the first time kind of thing? Is that
Oh,
what
no,
you're
I
thinking?
just mean like philosophical concepts or
Isn't
like
that-
character themes.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of talking about. Like there's Easter eggs or there's deeper meanings or there's
Yeah.
whatever that you're like,
Subtext.
I did not
Yeah.
catch this the first time, so I need to watch through it 10 times to get that.
Yeah.
Couldn't you also like look it up?
I mean,
Because I guarantee
can,
someone's already done that.
But,
You know,
but that's the thing about art is a lot of it is your own interpretation.
so you want to develop that on your own kind of thing. I get what you mean. Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, because I don't want to be told why the Mona Lisa is good or bad or whatever by someone else. You know? I would rather experience and have it mean what I think it should mean in my head.
I mean, I'll look at other people's thoughts and opinions on all that stuff.
Sure. But if I'm trying to, if it's something new that I haven't formed an opinion on,
Sure.
I would prefer my opinion to be the preeminent one. In
You
my
want to
head,
try
right?
to not bias your opinion? Is that what you kind of mean?
Sure. Like, you know, you get led into a movie theater and someone has told you, like, oh, yeah, don't get attached to this character, you know, stuff like that. I was like, oh, actually, I really like that character, but they die. Like, you shouldn't get attached to characters that die. You know, that kind of, like, someone with foreknowledge, I guess, about what to think about when you're looking at something and how that can change your perception of it, or you know, stuff like that.
All right. And then Eric, you're like, I don't know, right?
Yeah, I can't answer the question. I don't know what my favorite thing or TV show is, and I don't know what the best TV show is, so I can't say they're not
Well,
the same.
The hardest thing is how do you find
If you're
what-
so confused, then they probably are different. Because I have
But what
so
if they're
many,
the same? They could be. What if I did all the work and
but it's not that deep a question.
so pick
Like,
your favorite
you're not
TV
gonna be-
show?
You're not going to be prosecuted if you answer wrong.
No, but I want to answer it honestly.
But if you can't answer, then that is your answer.
No, my answer is I don't know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, which is what I've said. What was your contention with what I said?
Well, I was saying that most likely, if you can't decide which is your favorite and which is the best, if they're not even close to being similar, then they're probably not the same thing.
I would agree with that, but I don't know if they're not close to being similar. Like, I could probably sit down and try to like pick my favorite, and then sit down and try to figure out what I think is the best one, objectively, which there's no such thing.
No, that's one of
Then
the things too.
I
is
can't
like,
say that they would be the same or different. I don't know.
I don't know how you. The toughest part for me is like, how do you choose what the best show I've ever
Exactly.
seen is?
Yeah.
Because like the best show I've ever seen would probably be my favorite show, essentially, you know. But when relating it to like, I guess like an overall popular vote in a way, is just like, what's the overall consensus of everyone we
Sure.
ask in the world? What do they think the best is?
Yeah.
And this is what wins. But even still, that's just taking everyone's opinions,
Yeah.
which is like you're still not being like, well, this is objective, this is subjective. Ultimately, it's all the same. It's just everyone just voted on this, and that's what we're going with,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, yeah, but like I can also, like I love The Room. It's one of my favorite things ever. But I'm not gonna say that's one of the best things ever.
no, exactly. So if that's your favorite thing, you know it's not the best thing. You're like, this is really a bad movie, but I love it. Which is good. I get that. All right. Well, that is the last then of the questions because we're already at 5, and we need to go through bits and donations.
All right.
Show off whatever memes have been created in the last probably 2 hours.
I hope they're all G-rated, considering our topics.
Let me switch so I can see those memes as I read. All right, I have Trackstan subscribed for 11 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Zlack QQ 9 months. Thank you.
Thank you, Zlack.
Thank you very much.
I've never been that skinny.
Why did the Trash Eric stuff to come back up?
Christmas mailbag.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sense.
Okay.
Ryan Whittleston 52 month hype.
52 months. Thank you so much, Ryan.
much.
This is me and Zelda chat. Though not to you.
Sussy cats.
Mandanel 18 months. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Man, that's beautiful.
Oh,
That's art.
That's art.
That's art.
I don't see it.
My cabbages.
My cabbages.
14 months.
thank
Hi.
you.
Thank you.
How is the new pinball machine? Who has the highest score? It's great.
It's probably Rick.
I haven't gotten to play it much yet.
I haven't
only
played
played
it
it.
all yet.
I played it one night a couple times.
Rick has played it once.
I
It's
got
Rick.
that high score on my first play, and I have not gotten that much since.
You had like that beginner's luck kind of thing.
I did. Albert Lone, $25 tip. Hey, Rick, wanted to thank you for Roll with the Punches. It helped me get back into my workout routines and have a lot of fun following your workout streams. Also, have you seen the Creed movies? And if so, what do you think of them? I've only seen the first one, and I liked it a lot. I need to watch the second one. But I kind of waited in case we ever do them on the channel.
Right. Yeah, we still need to take Aaron through Rocky.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. Another one this Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern. Going to try to teach the left hook.
Ooh,
God help me.
it's a good hook.
It's not an easy punch to teach. Next one is Casual Doom 12. Resubscribe for 33 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why am I punching a giraffe?
Well, you're
How
fighting
did you
one.
get that high?
That's maybe the better question.
Double check?
Maybe it's a baby giraffe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It
They're
looks small.
still like 8 feet tall.
Look at the size of his head compared to his fists. That's a small.
Maybe Rick is at the Columbus Zoo where you can stand where you can feed the giraffes, and the giraffe is coming up to get food, and Rick's just like, get back!
Yeah.
You just punch him.
Bam, my food.
Yeah, exactly. This
You're
must be
not-
one of the 100s.
You're not paying $5 for those 3 pieces of celery if you're buying it for you. Not at the Columbus Zoo.
Celery? They always just gave me like seeds, it looked
Lettuce
like.
or whatever.
Pellets.
Yeah, it always looked like bird food almost.
For the giraffes?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was just like I turned this thing and just like it looked like just some kind of
Huh.
grain maybe or something. It wasn't like
Ah.
I had green stuff. It was weird.
No, it's been greens
And they-
for a while.
They came up and like licked it out of my hands, and I was like, "This is the best part of this zoo. Everything else, I don't get to touch any animals. I get to touch these though. They licked me.
They get to touch you.
No, I get to
That's
touch their
just-
tongue.
Yes,
No.
they can touch you. You can't touch them. It's just like a
Exactly.
strip club. Ahsoka's Imp. Resubscribe for 3 months.
Sokas,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Malik gifted 10 subs.
10
you,
subs.
Oh,
Thank you
no,
so much.
I don't think it was Ahsoka's imp. I think it was Ahsoka simp.
Oh.
That makes no sense. Megamind, 17 months. Woo! Hey, Blind Wave. If you could be an animal, what animal would you be?
Probably something that flies.
Maybe a monkey with a prehensile tail,
Oh, that'd be fun. Go through the woods like
right? Just hang upside down.
like Indiana Jones 4.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Flying would be cool too.
Yeah.
Like an eagle or something.
Like switching back and forth.
Yeah. Especially if I didn't have to worry about like breaking bones and
Be a
Stuff like
kangaroo
that.
because they box.
I want to be the animal that's at the top of the food chain that can fly. I don't want to be flying, looking around. Oh fuck! Stuff chasing me.
shoot, what are they called? An African eagle?
Maybe
They have like a 9-foot wingspan or something.
that.
Ikana Rudy, 20 months. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hunt Knee, 10 months.
Honey.
Clankzilla, gifted a sub.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Clank.
you.
The Banana Cow resubscribed for 20 months. I used to play Fortnite all night, no sleep. But ever since Obama told me to try Raid
Shadow Legends.
Shadow
for
Legends.
free, I'm addicted.
Obama.
This game is a game. It has graphics. It has characters. Best of all, it has a loot box mechanic to enhance my experience even more by adding an exciting chance-based layer to the game. 2 weeks I spent all my money becoming a Raid Shadow Legend. Now I live in a dumpster outside of McDonald's with free Wi-Fi. At night, I sneak into the McDonald's like my new raccoon.
I love that review. You know why? Didn't compare it to anything. Just enjoyed.
But they did compare Obama.
I guess they compared their life before and after.
Well, yeah. Like they did it because Obama told them to.
Yeah.
And they're also comparing Fortnite to Raid Shadow Legends. That's the whole
Yeah.
point, right?
Oh, were they? I didn't hear the Fortnite
They started
part.
with Fortnite and they went to Raid Shadow Legends to talk about how much better of a game it is.
Gotcha.
The Banana Cow.
Yeah, I'm completely wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't hear the first part.
The Banana Cow resubscribed for 20 months.
Thank
I already
you.
got that one. Sorry. That's the one I just read.
Yes.
Varix, 22 months. How did we arrive at this conversation? LOL.
Never
Someone
know.
asked a
That's the
question.
point of
and
podcasts.
it triggered
And we took it
something.
to its logical and extreme conclusion.
One of my favorite
Sometimes illogical.
one of my favorite things I've ever seen is Kevin Smith did these series of videos called like An Evening with Kevin Smith where it's supposed to be a Q&A.
Yeah.
And he famously in one of them took a question, spent the entire time on that one question. And then everybody was disappointed that they didn't get to ask any more
There's an
questions.
interview with like Jim Cornette and I think Bobby the Brain Heenan. And yeah, the interviewer asked one question and
Yeah.
they talked for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can do that.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
kind of like to stretch that muscle, but there are certain people out there that are just good at that. And I'll listen to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dickus Bickus is resubscribed for 48 months.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diggus.
4 years.
Dr. Zarius, 34 months.
Thank
Hi,
you.
Blind Wave. Hope all is going well. I'd like to thank Rick for saving my life. I was in bed last night watching a Clone Wars reaction. It was a Geonosian Queen episode, I think. He was joking around and pointed at the camera and said, "Maybe there's a bug crawling on you right now."
What?
I checked my leg and there was a spider crawling up it.
You
Oh my
saved him.
gosh.
Thanks, Rick. It was almost at my ass.
That was a temporal save. You did that years ago.
Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Cool.
So yeah, check your legs for spiders right now, everyone.
I'm good. I had a spider in my pants one time.
I just smooshed my pant legs against my leg real hard, so if there was a spider there, it ain't there anymore.
If you had an elephant trunk dick, you could slap it before it got to
That's
your butthole.
true. I could like
Just
fight it off.
Right there.
What if it bit it?
No, I would
gonna
be using
pinch-
a toothpick as a sword.
You're
strong
fighting
trunk
like
sword?
a
Yeah.
spider. It's like
You ever seen that spider suplex that guy?
no. I don't know what you're talking about.
Bam Vital, 15 months. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Juan.
Malik, 10 subs. Thank you.
Thank you, Malik. Very generous.
Thank you, Malik.
Mimi Kumi, 2 months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ferdam, 10 months.
Thank you.
And finally, Sandwich, 6 months. I'd like to be included.
Sandwich.
I like to be included.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Sandwich.
All right. That's the end of podcast, guys. Tomorrow, Rick will be back with Ocarina of Time.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
That is the plan.
Rick will hopefully be
I
back.
might be picking up my cat in Columbus.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But as of
Um,
now, that's the plan.
There's that then. Joining Roll with the Punches on Saturday.
Yes.
Yep.
Is a plan.
That is the plan.
Calvin back on Monday with Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll be going through the week again with more Zelda and more Last of Us and another podcast.
Yeah.
So,
And if you just want, come check out Rick's stream, but also I'll be in chat if you want to chat about what he's currently doing. I'm having so much fun talking like theories and stuff with people.
Come mock me.
just don't spoil Rick.
Oh no, we don't spoil Rick.
I don't really look at chat very much.
I've
He
done-
does it, and also we make sure. Like, I know the game. I know Rick. I know what he shouldn't or shouldn't.
I have done that with some
So,
games and stuff
yeah.
where I'm like, I'm not going to really look at chat much this time, guys. Just I don't want to get spoiled. So
Yeah.
Well, good. All right, guys. That's everything. Hope to see you guys. Hopefully everything tomorrow for Zelda. Everything
Indeed.
works out. So
I'm excited. I want to do it.
all right. We'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody. Captain Weiser Spider.
I heard.